Chapter 293. No time to waste. Kill. The masked man was afraid that something might happen in the middle of the battle. If another astral-reaching realm warrior showed up, then they would not be able to do anything, and they would not even be able to get the other half of the reward. Thunder Freer was furious. He opened his palm, forming a tiger claw. Mad thunder grab. Pap. Pap. There was a violent flash of lightning in the void, forming a huge tiger paw that completely enveloped the two masked men. Go kill that brat. I will block him. The masked man yelled as he tightened his right fist. A flame halo appeared on top of his fist as he threw out a punch towards the thunder tiger palm. Boom. The thunder and fire disappeared one after another. Thunder Freer and the masked man both backed out for dozens of meters. Brat, die. The other masked man seized the opportunity, and a 5-foot-long dark green iron stick appeared in his right hand. The iron stick was surrounded by beams of green light. He tightened his grip and smashed the iron stick towards Yi Chen's head. Before the stick even reached Yi Chen, the air had already started to collapse. In the eyes of the Sky Cloud Martial School people, this short stick was like a 1,000-foot-long tidal wave, which was extremely aggressive. Together, Luo Xinglie was planning to gather everyone to fight against the masked man, but he did not expect a huge change to happen to Yi Chen's body. Whoosh! A blood-red Zhen Qi shot up into the sky, dyeing Yi Chen's hair and eyebrows red. Holding his Starscar sword, Yi Chen did not back out at all. He threw out a sword attack with that blood-red thunder light. His whole body looked like a bloody god of war. Dang! The iron stick and the Starscar sword clashed together and exploded. It was like a real wave had pushed both of them back out. Pooh! The masked man could not believe what had just happened. He puked out a mouthful of smoking blood. How is this possible? Your battling power cannot be this powerful. Yi Chen looked cold. There are a lot of things that you do not know. I am not obligated to tell you all of them. Since you are here, then don't even think about leaving. Taking one step forward, Yi Chen's aura grew even more powerful. He lifted up his Starscar sword with both of his hands and attacked down. The masked man's injuries were not light. Coupled with the fact that he was slightly absent-minded, he lost the best opportunity to dodge the attack. The result of forcibly raising his rod to block the attack was that he was forced to retreat dozens of meters again. Blood gushed out of his mouth as if it was free of charge. He looked extremely embarrassed, which was the complete opposite of his previous arrogant demeanor. This is Yi Chen. Luo Xinglie acted like he did not know Yi Chen at all. Yi Chen was an early astral-reaching realm warrior, and he had been wounded after only one attack. He did not even have the power to fight back. Senior brother Yi is so strong. Those core disciples from the Sky Cloud Martial School, who had come to watch the competition, shouted out in shock. Of course, they were not the only ones who were shocked. Lu Hanshan, Zhu Mai, and those elders of the Sky Cloud Martial School were also shocked. It was as if they had just met Yi Chen for the first time. Although the power that Yi Chen had shown in the last battle of the Hidden Dragon rank was equivalent to an early astral-reaching realm warrior in his normal condition, he could only fight against him. It was impossible for him to beat him, not to mention making him puke blood with only one attack. It was obviously two different levels of battling power. In other words, in that last battle, Yi Chen still had some hidden power. Thinking up to this point, everyone from the Sky Cloud Martial School secretly felt lucky. Luckily, Yi Chen was a disciple of the Sky Cloud Martial School, and he was not their enemy. Otherwise, facing an enemy with endless hidden power and immeasurable battling power would be the most terrifying thing. Who knew whether or not he would attack at the critical moment? Yi Chen's movements were very simple. They were just like thunder and lightning, fast and violent, powerful and heavy. Every sword attack was accompanied by blood-colored lightning and endless clouds. He was like a god of war in the clouds, like a thunder god with thunder and lightning on his body. He had suppressed the masked man until he did not even have the slightest bit of temper left. Whoa! Another mouthful of blood spurted out. The masked man was seriously injured, and his face was pale without a trace of blood. He roared in a hoarse voice, "Damn brat, I will tear you into 1,000 pieces, turn you into ashes, and burn you for me." The dark green Jin Yuan outside the masked man's body rubbed against each other, bringing up sparks. The sparks were like sparks on a grassland, covering his whole body within a second and devouring him. The next second, a dark green flame appeared on his body, and his aura increased drastically. What? He has started to burn his Jin Yuan already? The masked man and Thunder Freya were fighting at the same level, so he did not have the time to pay attention to the other side of the battle. He waited until the huge aura of burning Jin Yuan spread out before he glanced over. What he saw made him open his mouth wide. In his sight, the masked man had been beaten by Yi Chen to the point where he kept puking out blood. He looked extremely embarrassed. If he did not burn his Jin Yuan soon, he would be killed. I was too careless. This brat is 10 times more tricky than I thought. Brat Yi, well done. Kill Thunder Chen Jun. Thunder Freya had also noticed what was happening on Yi Chen's side. He was shocked. Although Yi Chen's poetic perspective of thunder was not as good as his poetic perspective was obviously not just the poetic perspective of thunder, but the poetic perspective of thunderclouds. Therefore, judging from the overall poetic perspective, he was not weaker than Thunder Freya at all. The only difference was that he did not have any Jin Yuan. Thinking about what he had said before, that even if Yi Chen's sword intent reached completion, he would only be able to compete with early astral reaching realm warriors, he could not help but force a smile. Yi Chen did not need to rely on the completion of his sword intent. He could already compete with early astral reaching realm warriors with his powerful sword movements and poetic perspectives, and even wound them. What would happen if his sword intent reached completion? How powerful would it be? Thunder Freya did not dare to think about it anymore, as he was afraid that he would be depressed if he continued to think about it. There was no time to lose. Taking advantage of the masked man's dazed state, Thunder Freya opened his right hand. Countless arm-thick thunder light shot out towards the masked man at a speed that was a couple of times faster than the speed of sound. Pop, pop, pop. His protective Jin Yuan was shaken up, and the masked man was blown away. A trace of blood leaked out of the corner of his mouth. He made up his mind and shook his body. The flame on his body was extremely bright, making him look like a human-shaped torch. Only you know how to burn Jin Yuan, but so do I. Thunder Freya gave up on chasing after the masked man. Electric sparks flashed on his long hair, and in the next second, the blue flame and the lightning shot up into the sky. Both his aura and Jin Yuan vibration had been doubled. 2 peak-level early astral reaching realm warriors had burned their Jin Yuan one after another. The clouds started to gather, and even the protective screen of the surprising sky started to become unstable. On the other side, Yi Chen did not care about his opponent's Jin Yuan burning state. He held his sword with both of his hands and put it on his waist. His body leaned forward, and he shot out at a speed that was a couple of times faster than the speed of sound. His blood-colored Jin Qi dragged out a blood-red Qi flow behind him. Even the corner of his eyes had left 2 blood-colored traces in the air. Amazing. Evil. Aggressive. Right then, that was the feeling that Yi Chen had brought to the crowd. Zhu Mai and Xu Jing, who had a good impression of Yi Chen, could feel their hearts beating out of their control. A strange feeling rose in their hearts. Not only them, even a few of the core female masters blushed. They thought to themselves, if they were 20 years younger, they would most likely be attracted to him. Piss off. Burning his Jin Yuan had made the masked man even more wounded. Blood appeared on his face. He did not dare to waste any more time, so he held his black iron stick and threw it out with his most explosive power. Clang. The waves were stirred up, and the clouds and thunder roared. A huge shockwave spread out quickly, sweeping out in all directions and clearing out a huge cloud layer. Dragging his Star Scar sword, Yi Chen was not injured at all. On the other hand, the masked man's face was covered in blood. It looked like countless blood-red snakes slithering down his body, looking like a ghost. He yelled unwillingly, "This is unreasonable. I have already burned my Jin Yuan, and my attacking power has doubled. How could I still lose to you?" Calming down his boiling qi and blood, Yi Chen took out another 2 500-years-old blood sunflowers, sucking out their medicinal power and swallowing it. He thought to himself, battling with Sikong Sheng, my attacking power was already equivalent to a normal early astral reaching realm warrior. Now that I have performed the minor blood demon body separating great art, my attacking power has increased by at least 50%. Plus, I have successfully combined the 6th movement of the Sky Cloud Sword art. It should not be a problem for me to fight against an astral-reaching realm warrior who has burned his Zhen Yuan. As for being able to beat the masked man, it was because he had been wounded by me before. Brother Yi is freakishly powerful. A few of the core disciples mumbled to themselves. Luo Xinglie's tightened body and mind had finally relaxed. A smile appeared on his face. With Yi Chen here, they would not need to cause any more trouble. Immortal sky-shattering cloud. Without changing his movement, Yi Chen's aura had expanded to its peak. His body flashed once, appearing above the masked man within a second. His Starscar sword, which had been dyed red by the blood lightning, had been thrown down heavily. Chin. Sparks flew everywhere as the masked man's internal organs had been messed up. It was no longer a matter of being badly wounded. If it was not treated in time, he might be disabled for the rest of his life, and would never be able to become a warrior again. With that thought in mind, he did not care about the dignity of an astral-reaching realm warrior anymore. He turned around and ran away at his fastest speed. Compared to his life, the dignity of an astral-reaching realm warrior was not worth anything at all. He is running away. Zhu Mai opened her red little mouth. Kill heart. Letting the tiger go back to the mountain was not Yi Chen's style. Right then, when he was performing the minor blood demon body separating great art, it would disturb his mental stability. The reason why he was able to maintain this kind of stability was because of his powerful soul power. But no matter how powerful his soul power was, it would only be enough for him to maintain it. Performing the kill heart sword attack would definitely affect its power. But of course, as long as he could perform 80% of its power, it would be enough. He threw out a sword attack, the sword chi looking like a pillar. Swoosh. The masked man's burning protective Zhen Yuan had been punctured through, and an arm-sized bloody hole appeared on his chest. After a scream, he fell down from the sky, completely dead. The masked man was shocked, Thunder Freya was shocked, Luo Xinglie was shocked, and everyone from the Sky Cloud Martial School was shocked. It seemed like even the Wind Vulture was shocked, its eyeballs stopped moving. Fighting against an early astral-reaching realm warrior and killing an early astral-reaching realm warrior were two completely different concepts. They could not be compared at all. They thought that no one in the South Rudra region would be able to do it for a long time, but Yi Chen had done it. He had done something that no one in the South Rudra region had managed to do in the past hundreds of years. He had killed an early astral-reaching realm warrior who was burning his Zhen Yuan with only a late clasping Yuan realm warrior. Once this got out, it would create a tsunami-like storm in the whole South Rudra region. His name would also be recorded in the history of the whole region. Chapter 294. Performing the minor blood demon body separating great art did not feel good at all. All of his chi and blood seemed to be burning, bringing waves of needle-like pain. This kind of pain was getting worse as time went on. Even with Yi Chen's powerful endurance, cold sweat still dripped down from his forehead. Kill. Yi Chen turned his body, and a blood-colored arc flashed through the air. All of a sudden, Yi Chen appeared above the middle-aged man, throwing out a sword attack. You are looking for death. The middle-aged man recovered from his shock. A sharp killing intent shot out from his eyes as he threw out a fist attack with a burning flame halo towards Yi Chen. Boom. A huge part of the cloud layer had been evaporated. Looking down from the cloud layer, there seemed to be a huge hole in the sky. The edge of the hole was filled with fire and thunder. The terrifying impact sent Yi Chen flying backward. He glided in the air for hundreds of meters before he managed to stop himself. His feet stepped on the misty cloud, and a pale look flashed across his face. A peak-level early astral-reaching realm warrior was extremely powerful. Even with the combination of Yi Chen's minor blood demon body separating great art and his sky-shattering clouds with his 70% sword intent, he would still be at a disadvantage. Plus, the middle-aged man was different from the other masked man who had already died. He had basically not been wounded before. Once he started to burn his Zhen Yuan, his battling power would be doubled. All right, you and I will take care of him together. Thunder Freer did not plan to keep the middle-aged man alive, because he knew that he would not be able to do it with his own power. Wounding him was already his limit. But now that Yi Chen had taken out the other masked man, if the two of them worked together, they would have a great chance of winning. In your dreams, taste my three-colored fire fist. The middle-aged man roared as all of his clothes started to dance in the air without any wind. Under the burning Jin Yuan mode, the edges of his clothes were covered in flames. It looked like he was wearing pieces of dancing flames, looking extremely powerful. On his right fist, a golden flame appeared, burning the air. Three-colored fire fist. Yi Chen was a bit surprised. Before, he had felt that he did not have enough battling techniques, so he went to the trading palace of the martial city to look for a replacement fist art. Among the two fist art manuals that he had his eyes on, one of them was indeed the three-colored fire fist, while the other one was the five-mountain godly fist. The three-colored fire fist was sold for 170,000 low-rank soulstones in the trading palace. There were 3 movements in total. The fist power of the first movement would be red, the second would be purple, and the third would be gold. Obviously, the masked man had already trained the three-colored fire fist to the highest level. Although the three-colored fire fist art was a mid-rank Earthrealm fist art, and its rank was not that high, but in the South Rudra region, normal astral-reaching realm warriors rarely had martial arts above mid-rank Earthrealm. A high-rank Earthrealm martial art was priceless, and only the astral-reaching realm warriors from rank 6 martial institutions and rank 7 martial institutions had the money to buy it. Plus, even if you had the money, you might not be able to buy it, since there were so many astral-reaching realm warriors in the South Rudra region, and martial arts above mid-rank Earthrealm were extremely rare. In this situation, it would be impossible for every astral-reaching realm warrior to have a martial art above mid-rank Earthrealm. But of course, mid-rank Earthrealm martial arts were 2 different concepts in the hands of clasping Yuan realm warriors and astral-reaching realm warriors. Clasping Yuan realm warriors used Jin Qi to perform their martial arts, while astral-reaching realm warriors used Jin Yuan. This alone was like a huge gap that could not be crossed. Plus, because of the high cultivation of astral-reaching realm warriors, they would be able to perform their martial arts to the extreme, and their martial poetic perspective would be a whole level higher than that of clasping Yuan realm warriors. In the Hidden Dragon rank competitions, Yi Chen's sword poetic perspective was just like that of an astral-reaching realm warrior, which had already shocked a lot of people. Therefore, even if a clasping Yuan realm warrior had a top-rank Earthrealm martial art, he would still not be able to compete with an astral-reaching realm warrior who had used a mid-rank Earthrealm martial art. Even more extreme, an astral-reaching realm warrior could easily kill a clasping Yuan realm warrior without using any martial arts. As for martial geniuses like Yi Chen and Xikong Sheng, who could fight against people who were a whole level higher than them, they could be counted as special cases. The three-colored fire fist art was one of the top mid-rank Earthrealm martial arts. Performed by the masked man, that rich golden flame had raised the temperature of the area rapidly. It was like a fire chi field had formed in that area, and anyone who entered the chi field would be greatly affected. Haha, I can't kill you, but I can kill him. The masked man could tell that Yi Chen had used a martial art that could increase his battling power. Normally, this kind of martial art would not last long, and it would also cause a lot of damage to the user. He did not believe that Yi Chen would be able to use it forever. In front of me, Thunder Freer, you will not be able to kill anyone. Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor. Thunder Freer sneered. His burning protective Jin Yuan shrunk and condensed into a battle armor that was full of thunder and lightning. 2 light arcs extended out from the back of the battle armor. At the place where the light arcs intersected, a bowl-sized thunder bead started to condense. The electric arcs that were spreading out from it started to make cracking noises. The martial art that came with the Heavenly Thunder Great Art, the Heavenly Thunder Battle Armor. Thunder Freer had a great adventure in his early years. He had found a set of martial art, the Heavenly Thunder Great Art, which contained a martial art, a defensive martial skill, and a battling martial skill. Judging only the effect of increasing battling power, it was almost as powerful as a normal high-rank Earthrealm martial art. Excluding the early astral-reaching realm warriors from the super martial institutions, with the power of the Heavenly Thunder Great Art, Thunder Freer would definitely be one of the most powerful early astral-reaching realm warriors. I will kill you first. Thunder Freya's toughness was out of the masked man's expectation. His body flashed, and he rushed towards Yi Chen with a straight fire wave. Pap! After the heavenly thunder battle armor had been condensed, Thunder Freya's speed had been pushed to its limit. An electric arc exploded, and his whole body appeared in front of the masked man within a second. He threw out a claw attack. So fast. But so what? Back out now. Raising up his fist that was wrapped in golden flame, the masked man clenched his teeth and threw out an attack towards Thunder Freya. Boom! A huge sound was heard as both of them were blown back. Right then, Yi Chen moved. He looked like a bloody battle god. He took a step forward, ignoring the distance between him and the masked man as he threw out a sword attack. Kill Heart. The Kill Heart was a combination of the lone peak kill and the one sword attack. It could be used for both close-range and long-range attacks. Relatively speaking, close-range attacks were more powerful. Under the cover of the kill poetic perspective, warriors with the same cultivation would not be able to block it out at all. Even astral-reaching realm warriors would not be able to ignore this poetic perspective. Pooh! The burning protective Jin Yuan had been punctured through, and an egg-sized bloody hole appeared on the masked man's shoulder. It was perfectly round, and blood kept pouring out of it. The masked man screamed and hurried to back out, increasing the distance between them. What a shame. Just a little bit more. Yi Chen's soul power had been searching for the flaws of the masked man all the time. Before, when the masked man was battling with Thunder Freya, his flawless protective Jin Yuan had been slightly unstable, which gave Yi Chen the chance to throw out a sword attack. However, astral-reaching realm warriors had extremely powerful mental power, and the kill poetic perspective could not affect his mind completely. Therefore, Yi Chen managed to avoid the fatal attack. Since his sword attack had failed, Yi Chen looked around and noticed that Thunder Freya was preparing for another thunder attack. He understood what he meant, so he attacked towards the masked man again. You are too much. Go away. After being hit on the shoulder by Yi Chen, the masked man's face turned red and then white. It was an expression of anger. He threw out his three-colored fire fist, and a golden flame wave shot up into the sky. Waving his sword, Yi Chen suddenly backed out for dozens of meters. The next second, a tens of meters long, dark blue lightning bolt shot out from Thunder Freya's direction. The lightning bolt was as thick as 2 fingers, and it started from the thunder pearl where the 2 light arcs intersected on Thunder Freya's back, and ended at the masked middle-aged man's body. With a loud boom, the masked middle-aged man was blown hundreds of meters away by the dark blue lightning bolt. Along the way, the clouds were burned into a straight line, leaving a trail behind. After landing his first attack, Thunder Freya followed up. The thunder pearl on his back continued to prepare, shooting out the second dark blue lightning, which landed on the masked man's body. The masked man had been beaten until he puked out blood. He had underestimated Thunder Freya and Yi Chen. He thought that even if he could not kill Yi Chen, he would still be able to escape unscathed. After all, his cultivation was still there, and his battling power had already been pushed to its limit. Sky Thunder attack. The color of the armor on his body started to dim down. Thunder Freya took a deep breath and pushed his thunder element Shen Qi, gathering all of the power on the armor into the thunder pearl. He threw out the last attack at the cost of the thunder pearl exploding, which was also his most powerful attack. Boom! The lightning went straight through the masked man's protective Jin Yuan and pierced through his chest. However, not even a single drop of blood came out. I don't want to die like this. The masked man felt a strong sense of regret. He regretted taking on such a tricky task, regretted not backing out immediately, and regretted underestimating Yi Chen once again. If it were not for Yi Chen, Thunder Freya would not have had the chance to hit him so easily in a one-on-one battle. One wrong move, and everything after that, he would have to pay with his life. Even if I die, one of you will have to die with me. Right then, running away was impossible. The masked man did not care about his fatal wound and burned his Jin Yuan to its peak. His body turned into a flame as he jumped towards Yi Chen, planning to drag one of them down with him before he died. Yi Chen's expression did not change as he performed his separating shadow flying art. As the wind blew, he disappeared, and when he reappeared, he was already on the right side of the masked man. He threw out a sword attack, and the kill heart sword chi burst out. Pooh! The masked man's neck twisted, and his eyes lost the color of life. After being attacked for so many times, his battling power had decreased drastically, and he could no longer handle Yi Chen's kill heart sword attack. Seeing the death of the masked man with his own eyes, Yi Chen let out a heavy breath of blood chi. The side effect of the minor blood demon body separating great art was extremely huge. It was all thanks to the blood sunflower that he was able to last until now. However, the blood sunflower could only make up for one side of the side effect, since the chi and blood of the flesh were different from Jin chi. It was not as simple as using a little bit to make up for it. There was still an extremely complicated conversion process involved. After releasing the minor blood demon body separating great art, Yi Chen's face was extremely pale, and he looked a bit exhausted. After swallowing a soul-replenishing pellet, Yi Chen looked over at Thunder Freya, who seemed to be in a slightly better condition than him. That Sky Thunder attack had used up a lot of his Jin Chi, and he was currently swallowing pellets to replenish his Jin Chi. The two looked at each other and forced a smile. Killing a peak-level early astral-reaching realm warrior was way more difficult than they had expected. The higher the cultivation, the harder it would be to kill. Chapter 295. Luo Xinglie and the rest of the people had just woken up from their stupor. They were all shocked. 2 astral-reaching realm warriors had been killed just like that, and it had only been a short while. Plus, both of them were killed by Yi Chen, although the second masked man was mainly killed by Thunder Freya. Senior Thunder Freya, Yi Chen, let's go back to the Windy Eagles first. It was not a good place to stay, so Luo Xinglie suggested. All right. Thunder Freya did not reject either. The Jun Chi that he had lost would not be recovered in a short period of time, and he would need to rest for a while. Waiting for Thunder Freya and Yi Chen to get on, a group of Windy Eagles carried everyone and flew far away. After a couple of hours, Thunder Freya opened his eyes and blew out a breath towards the incoming strong wind. The breath was extremely powerful, and the strong wind dissipated in an instant. Turning his head, he looked at Yi Chen and laughed. Little brat, a scholar who has been away for 3 days must be looked at in a new light. This is the first time I, old Lei, admire someone. In this true spirit continent, only the powerful ones were respected. This rule was everywhere. When one person was way more powerful than the other, even if they had a good relationship, there would still be a subtle relationship between the two, since the gap was still a gap. For someone who was not powerful enough, would you be friends with him? Laugh and yell? Joke around? It was obviously not realistic, since there would always be one person who would be the leader, and that person would usually be the most powerful one. In the past, Thunder Freya would always call himself Thunder Freya when he met someone from the younger generation, but this time, he called himself Old Thunder. The reason was simple, because Yi Chen's attacking power was already at the same level as his, and the gap was very small. Plus, Yi Chen was a disciple of the martial institution that Cloud Dreamer was in, so calling him Old Thunder would be more intimate, just like how he liked to call Cloud Dreamer the Old Ghost. Senior Thunder Freya, you are flattering me. Yi Chen was just lucky to have found a secret martial art that could increase his attacking power. Yi Chen said. Secret martial arts are also a part of one's power. Otherwise, why would warriors need to run into all kinds of things? Not to mention this, is this secret martial art the minor blood demon separating great art? Thunder Freya asked through his Jin Yuan. Yi Chen hesitated for a moment, then nodded and said, yes. No wonder. I was wondering why it looked so familiar. It turns out to be Master Blood Demon's ultimate technique. Thunder Freya continued, you are different from Master Blood Demon. He has the Blood Demon clone to provide him with his chi and blood, which allows him to continuously perform the minor Blood Demon body separating great art, or even the even more horrifying Major Blood Demon body separating great art. However, you need to use your own chi and blood to perform the minor blood demon body separating great art, which is even scarier than the major blood demon body separating great art. But, you need to use your own chi and blood to perform the minor blood demon body separating great art, so it is inevitable that you will get injured. Plus, this kind of thing can easily attract attention. If Master Blood Demon notices you, me, you, and Cloud Dreamer, the three of us together would not even be able to defeat one of his fingers. It was indeed the secret martial art of the Blood Demon. In fact, Yi Chen had already suspected it, since the minor Blood Demon body-separating Great Art and the major Blood Demon body-separating Great Art were way too similar. After hearing what Thunder Freya had just said, he could finally confirm it. As for the power of the Blood Demon, Yi Chen did not doubt it at all. Among the 108 ghost warriors of the Nine Ghost Cult, the Blood Demon was one of the top ones, way more powerful than the Corpseman Senior, don't worry. Unless it is a critical moment, Yi Chen knows what to do. Yi Chen nodded. If it were not for the fact that his life would be in danger, he would have been hesitant to perform the minor Blood Demon body-separating Great Art. The Sky Cloud Martial School of the Windy Nation was too far away from the Hidden Dragon Ancient City. After 2 whole months, the group finally arrived at the Sky Cloud Martial School on the Wind Eagles. The leader is back. Brother Yi is here too. Brother Yi has been training for more than a year. I wonder what level he has reached now. There were a lot of disciples in the Sky Cloud Martial School every day. Raising their heads, they could see a group of wind eagles flying towards the main mountain. On the plaza outside the palace, a lot of inner elders had heard the news and ran out to congratulate Yi Chen. Beside them were many outer elders, core disciples, and inner disciples. Welcome, leader, welcome, Senior Thunder Freya. Luo Xinglia landed on the ground first, waved his hand and said, "Everyone, come to the palace, I have something to announce." Inside the spacious palace, there were a lot of people. Luo Xinglia was sitting on the main seat, while Yi Chen was standing right next to him. As for Thunder Freya, he had already gone to find Cloud Dreamer, as he was not interested in these things at all. Clearing his throat, Luo Xinglia opened his mouth and said, "The reason why I gathered you all here is to tell you about the Hidden Dragon rank. Brother Yi must have made it into the rank. Otherwise, the leader would not make such a big announcement. It must be. Brother Yi was already the #1 warrior among the young generation of the 9 nations 1.5 years ago. After 1 year, his power must have improved a lot. I wonder what his rank is now." Inside the palace, everyone was discussing. They kept looking at Yi Chen, who was standing right next to Luo Xinglia. This time, 2 disciples of our Sky Cloud Martial School have made it into the Hidden Dragon rank. One is a core disciple, Xu Jing, and the other is indeed Yi Chen. After the palace quieted down for a while, Luo Xinglia started to announce the result. Most of the people were not surprised at the result. Xu Jing's power was obvious to all. Even Luo Hanshan and Zhu Mai, the 2 core disciples, could not even last 3 attacks from her. And Yi Chen was even more powerful than Xu Jing. Therefore, it would be surprising if he was not in the Hidden Dragon rank. Xu Jing is ranked 19. Seeing everyone's shocked eyes, Luo Xinglia smiled and continued, "Yi Chen, ranked, first in the Hidden Dragon rank. What? Brother Yi is the #1 of the Hidden Dragon rank? Although Brother Yi is indeed powerful, I remember that the champion of the last Hidden Dragon rank was Sikong Sheng, the second was Yang Qihua, and the fourth was Li Daoxian. These 3 already had the power to compete with peak-level late-clasping Yuan Realm Warriors 3 years ago. After 3 years, no peak-level late-clasping Yuan Realm Warriors would be able to compete with them. No matter how much Brother Yi has improved, he would not be able to beat them, right? Did they not participate?" Everyone was shocked, their faces were full of disbelief. One of the inner masters asked confusedly, "Leader, did something happen to this year's Hidden Dragon rank?" He was trying to ask if Sikong Sheng and the rest of them could not participate because of something. Otherwise, it would be impossible to explain the fact that Yi Chen had won the #1 title. Luo Xinglia said with a smile on his face, "Yes, something had happened. The change is that Yi Chen had beaten all of the top young warriors from the last Hidden Dragon rank, including Lin Yun, Li Daoxian, Yang Qihua, and Sikong Sheng. He had made it to the #1 of the Hidden Dragon rank. Not only that, he had also opened the Hidden Dragon Secret Realm, which had not appeared for thousands of years, breaking the record of the Hidden Dragon rank." Gasp! Hearing him, everyone in the palace gasped. Yi Chen had beaten all of the top young warriors from the last Hidden Dragon rank and made it to the number 1 of the Hidden Dragon rank. In other words, his power had already reached the peak of the clasping Yuan realm. In the Sky Cloud Martial School, he was only below the Great Master. As for the Hidden Dragon secret realm, they did not know much about it. However, the 1,000-year record had shocked them again. The record was not that easy to break. Reaching the height of the South Rudra region, there might not be anyone who could break it within 100 years. And what Yi Chen had broken was the 1,000-year record of the South Rudra region. What kind of concept was this? Is this real? There were still people who did not believe it and mumbled. Luo Xinglie was not happy. Do you think I would lie to you? Knowing that this matter could not be fake, the way everyone looked at Yi Chen had changed. It was now filled with admiration and respect. Indeed, it was respect. Yi Chen's status had changed drastically. He was no longer a simple disciple of the Sky Cloud Martial School, but an existence just below the Great Master. He was the number 1 martial genius of the South Rudra region. With so much glory gathered on him, it would be his own problem if he was no longer worthy of their respect. Congratulations, Brother Yi. In the palace, all of the core and inner disciples held their fists together and bowed to Yi Chen, including Zhong Haoren and Wu Ming. One of them was a core disciple, and the other was an inner disciple. Their status had improved a lot, but unfortunately, compared to Yi Chen, they were like fireflies. Especially for Zhong Haoren, his expression changed a couple of times before he finally calmed down. His fighting spirit would not diminish, but it was obviously not suitable for him to keep looking at Yi Chen as his goal, since Yi Chen was a couple of levels lower than him. When he was still an inner disciple, Yi Chen was already the number 1 among the young generation in the 9 nations. After he became a core disciple, Yi Chen became the number 1 among the young generation in the South Rudra region. He could not imagine what would happen when he reached the clasping Yuan realm. Yi Chen felt a bit emotional. He raised his hand and said, "Don't be so polite. I am still a disciple of the Sky Cloud Martial School. It will not change now, and it will not change in the future." Luo Xinglie glanced at Yi Chen with a smile, then said to everyone in the palace, "All right, everyone now knows the situation. You can go now." After a while, when everyone had left, Luo Xinglie said to Yi Chen, "Yi Chen, I will take you to the base of the Sky Cloud Martial School." "Yes, leader." In less than one day, almost 10,000 people in the Sky Cloud Martial School had heard about the news of Yi Chen winning the number 1 Hidden Dragon rank. They all had their mouths wide open, unable to believe it. I did not believe it at the time either. But since the leader had said it, it must be true. I could not believe that our Sky Cloud Martial School would have a number 1 martial genius in the South Rudra region. Fortunately, I am also a disciple of the Sky Cloud Martial School. Otherwise, I would not have been able to share this honor. I heard that the Hidden Dragon ranking is related to luck. Brother Yi is the number 1. Doesn't that mean that we will also benefit from luck? Indeed. As long as we work hard in the future, we will be able to get twice the results with half the effort. My cousin is still hesitating about which martial institution to join. Now that Brother Yi has won the number 1 Hidden Dragon rank, he would definitely fight to join. Then tell him to do it as soon as possible. Soon, the whole Windy Nation will know about it. By then, the number of young people joining the Sky Cloud Martial School will be beyond imagination. If he is late, he will not have the chance anymore. Thanks for the reminder. I will ask for leave now and tell my people about this. My uncle is going to join the Emerald Martial Palace and become the outer master of the Emerald Martial Palace. I will go stop him now. It would be great to join the Sky Cloud Martial School. He would be lucky. Within one day, countless people had asked for leave, which made the master in charge very busy. But of course, it was with a smile on his face. In front of the Martial Skill Pavilion, the master who was guarding the pavilion touched his beard after hearing the news. He forced a smile and said, "What kind of monster is he?" He could still vaguely remember that Yi Chen was only 14 or 15 years old. He had a handsome face and looked very young. The first time he had met him was when he was training the Lone Peak 13 swords. He did not think that Yi Chen would be able to successfully train the Lone Peak 13 swords, but he did. As time went by, the handsome teenager was no longer there. He had grown into a young man, and his status had also increased. He had become the #1 martial genius of the South Rudra region, and had dominated the young generation of the South Rudra region. 3 to 4 years had passed so fast. Chapter 296. When Yi Chen and Xu Jing arrived at the base of the Sky Cloud Martial School under Luo Xinglia's lead, the dragon fountain qi that had been hidden in their bloodline suddenly jumped out and drilled into the ground like a dragon diving into the ocean. After about 10 breaths of time, hundreds of miles around the Sky Cloud Martial School started to gather. Dragon roars and tiger roars could be vaguely heard in the air and underground, which was a sign that the dragon fountain qi was extremely abundant. There was a small dragon fountain under the Windy Mountain where the Sky Cloud Martial School was located. In fact, all the top-rank martial institutions would choose to build their martial institutions in places with dragon fountains. That way, they would be able to develop better and better. For example, the dragon fountain under the rank 7 martial institution, the Emerald Martial Valley, was much bigger than the Sky Cloud Martial School. It used to be the place where the rank 6 martial institution, the Mountain and Water Pavilion, was built. Unfortunately, after the Mountain and Water Pavilion was destroyed, the Dragon Fountain Qi had been lost a lot. They had to rely on the 1,000 mountains and rivers layout to leave some. Even so, the Dragon Fountain Qi that was left behind was still more than all the martial institutions in the Windy Nation combined. Right now, Yi Chen and Xu Jing's Dragon Fountain Qi poured into the Dragon Fountain of the Windy Mountain, and it immediately started to cleanse the Dragon Fountain. It also started to help the Dragon Fountain to gather the Earth Qi from tens of thousands of miles around and strengthen itself. The gathering of Earth Qi was way too loud, and the Dragon Fountain could not control it at all. Only Yi Chen's Dragon Fountain Qi could suppress it, and Xu Jing's Dragon Fountain Qi could only support it. After a long time, the abundant Dragon Fountain Qi gradually stabilized. One big and one small Dragon Fountain Qi broke out of the ground and merged into Yi Chen's and Xu Jing's bodies respectively. As soon as the Qi of the Dragon Vein entered his body, Yi Chen immediately felt that the Qi of the Dragon Vein had increased and established a vague connection with the Dragon Vein of the Windy Mountain. Carefully sensing it, Yi Chen found that there was a trace of his Qi of the Dragon Vein left in the Windy Mountain Dragon Vein. This trace of Qi of the Dragon Vein did not play a dominant role, but it could suppress the newly added Earth Qi. Meanwhile, Xu Jing's Qi of the Dragon Vein wandered around, taming the more violent Earth Qi and driving away some evil Earth Qi, maintaining the purity of the Windy Mountain Dragon Vein. Everyone from the Sky Cloud Martial School, who was staying in the Windy Mountain or the surrounding mountains, seemed to be thinking about something. Their minds suddenly became clearer, and some of the tiny distracting thoughts that were hindering their cultivation were being washed away by the invisible power. They felt much more relaxed. Behind the Qingfeng Mountain was a mountain peak that pierced through the clouds. There were 2 people sitting on the mountain peak. One of them was wearing white robes with purple edges. He looked to be in his 60s, and looked very peaceful. The other one was the middle-aged Thunder Freer. "Old man, I don't know what kind of luck your Sky Cloud Martial School had in your last life, to have such a talented true dragon like Yi Chen. As long as he is alive, the Sky Cloud Martial School will continue to prosper." Thunder Freer poured himself a glass of wine and drank it all. Cloud Dreamer smiled and said, "The world is unpredictable, and so is the luck. Who said that a normal place cannot have a true dragon? A true dragon can be big or small, it can rise or hide. There can be a true dragon anywhere. This true dragon is too powerful." With his late clasping Yuan realm cultivation, he was able to kill an early astral reaching realm warrior. If we give him some time, I am afraid that even you and I will be surpassed by him. I don't know what you are going to do with him. Being a core disciple is obviously not suitable. Thunder Freer asked. Cloud Dreamer hesitated for a while. How about making him a master? Master, it is such a waste. Even if he is a core master, so what? He is a true dragon, how can he be under someone else? Even if he wants to, he can't do it. Hehe, I am talking about the Great Master. Great Master? Thunder Freer opened his eyes wide. You are not joking, are you? Isn't there a rule in the Sky Cloud Martial School that if one does not reach the astral reaching realm, one cannot be a great master? Cloud Dreamer shook his head. Rules are made by people. Since they are made by people, they can be changed. I believe that even if all the ancestors of the Sky Cloud Martial School were alive, they would not object to it. That's true. A true dragon is something that others can't even wait to worship. Giving him the position of Supreme Elder is not a big deal. Moreover, Supreme Elder doesn't need to manage anything, which suits Yi Chen even more. The other positions are somewhat inappropriate. After thinking about it carefully, Thunder Freer felt that Cloud Dreamer's words were not groundless. He had probably planned for this a long time ago. Hey! Cloud Dreamer suddenly lifted up his head. Thousands of miles high up in the sky, the clouds were clouds, and the wind was the wind. From the surface, nothing seemed to be out of place. However, as he used his mental power to check, he immediately realized that the natural Yuan Qi was gathering towards the Sky Cloud Martial School. Besides that, there was an undercurrent under the ground, along with vague dragon roars and tiger roars. It is done. Cloud Dreamer let out a deep breath. He was extremely energetic. Thunder Freer put down his wine cup. I am thinking about whether or not I should join your Sky Cloud Martial School. You should not mind being a great master, right? Cloud Dreamer said, not yet. I am out in the open, and you are in the dark. There are some things that I need you to take care of. I cannot move easily. Plus, there is no need to rush. You saved Yi Chen's life back then, so you have already been blessed with luck. It would not be any worse than being a great master in the Sky Cloud Martial School. You think I am the hired fighter of the Sky Cloud Martial School? Thunder Freer laughed. Slowly standing up, Cloud Dreamer said, I will be right back. In the main mountain's palace, Luo Xinglie, the head master, Xu Jing and Yi Chen were standing in the middle of the palace. A human shadow flashed past the back door of the palace. A young elder wearing white robes with purple edges walked out. He smiled slightly, looking very peaceful. Great master, Luo Xinglie and the head master said with respect. Hearing him, Xu Jing and Yi Chen also held their fists together. Great master, greetings. Cloud Dreamer waved his hand. Yi Chen, Xu Jing, you two have done a great job. No matter what happens in the future, you will still be the biggest contributors to the Sky Cloud Martial School. I am here to discuss something with you. I do not want to make it too big. Only the 5 of us need to know about it. Yi Chen said, Great master, please go ahead. Xu Jing, you have trained a body strengthening art. Although you are only at the early clasping Yuan realm, you have the power to fight against late clasping Yuan realm warriors. I have discussed with the leader and decided to give you the position of a core master. What do you think? Xu Jing did not hesitate. Thank you, great master and leader. Xu Jing will accept it. Since she was willing to share the fortune with the Sky Cloud Martial School, she would naturally not want to leave the school. Being a core master was not a big deal, since she would be part of the Sky Cloud Martial School anyway. I am glad to hear your decision. Although Cloud Dreamer had expected that Xu Jing would accept it, he was still very happy. In the South Rudra region, there were not many martial geniuses like Xu Jing. She would be able to surpass him in the future and become the real pillar of the Sky Cloud Martial School. Clearing his throat, Cloud Dreamer looked at Yi Chen. Yi Chen, are you willing to be the great master of the Sky Cloud Martial School? Yi Chen was a bit surprised. Great master? Yi Chen is still not qualified enough. It does not seem to be suitable. Luo Xinglie said, Yi Chen, the great master is all about power. Qualifications do not mean much. Plus, with your current cultivation, reaching the astral reaching realm is only a matter of time. Why don't you confirm it now so that you can focus on your own things? Since the great master and the leader think that I can do it, then I will do it. Taking a deep breath, Yi Chen nodded. Good. That would be great. Cloud Dreamer studied Xu Jing and Yi Chen, then laughed. Don't worry. The school will not restrict you. You can do whatever you want. The Sky Cloud Martial School will not interfere too much. I only hope that when the Sky Cloud Martial School is in danger, you can help us. Of course. Yi Chen and Shu Jing nodded at the same time. His fingers swept across the storage ring. Cloud Dreamer took out 2 tags and handed them to Shu Jing and Yi Chen respectively. These are the core master tags and the great master tags. Although they are just symbols, it would be best if you don't lose them. After all, only the 5 of us know your real identities, so they might be of some use to you. Taking over the tags, Yi Chen said, "In the next few days, I will go back to the Yi family to take a look, then I will stay in the Sky Cloud Martial School to train." "Alright, I have already prepared a mountain for you 2 to train. No one will disturb you." Waiting until Shu Jing and Yi Chen left, Cloud Dreamer and the other 2 looked at each other and smiled. Now that everything had been settled, they could finally let out a breath. The next day, Yi Chen rode the Wind Eagle and flew towards the Yi family in the Luo city. The Wind Eagle could travel 20,000 miles a day. Within a day, Yi Chen arrived outside the Luo city. Without stopping, Yi Chen drove the Wind Eagle and flew towards the Yi family's area, which made people in the city gasp in shock. In the Yi family, it was rare for Yi Batian to come back to the Yi family. As an inner elder of the Purple Sun Martial School, because of the fact that a genius like Yi Chen had appeared in his family, he had become the enemy of the Purple Sun Martial School. Because of this, he had been pushed aside by the other inner elders a lot. He had been holding back his anger for a long time. He didn't know if it was because of Yi Chen, or because of what he had been through. Either way, he was not happy. "Father, that's a Wind Eagle." His eldest son, Yi Feng, also came back with Yi Batian. He was already at the mid-condensing reality realm. Normally, his talent was not that bad, it could be considered as above average. However, things were different now. His mid-condensing reality realm cultivation could no longer attract any attention. Yi Batian raised his head, sneered and said, "This is the Yi family. People from the Sky Cloud Martial School dare to come here on a Wind Eagle. They are not taking me seriously at all. Get down." Yi Batian reached out his right hand. His Jun Qi surged up and created a strong suction force. Whoosh! A fierce gale started blowing, and the Wind Eagle started shaking. Yi Chen, who was covered by the Wind Eagle, stood up. Seeing Yi Batian's attack, he frowned and waved his right hand, cutting off the suction force. Yi Chen. Yi Batian squinted his eyes. Yi Feng plucked up his courage and said, "Yi Chen, why don't you come down and greet my father?" It had only been 2 days since Yi Chen came back to the Windy Nation. What happened in the Hidden Dragon Ancient City had not been spread out yet. Only a few people in the martial world knew about it. In Yi Feng's eyes, Yi Chen was only at the peak level early clasping Yuan realm or mid clasping Yuan realm at most. There was still a huge gap between him and his father, Yi Batian. Yi Chen remained expressionless. "Greetings, uncle." After saying that, he rode the Wind Eagle and flew towards the plaza of the Yi family. "How dare you!" Yi Batian yelled. He was a bit surprised that Yi Chen had cut off his palm attack. However, he had reached the late clasping Yuan realm for a long time, and was one of the most powerful inner elders in the Purple Sun Martial School. How could he let Yi Chen look down on him? Enraged, he threw out a palm attack, trying to show his power. Chapter 297. Feeling the sharp fist power coming right at him, Yi Chen threw out a punch without even turning his head. He had performed the first movement of the 5-mountain godly fist art, 5-mountain consolidating shapes. The bright yellow halo formed into a shadow of a mountain. The shadow vibrated, and the air collapsed. Yi Batian's fist power didn't even reach 10 meters before it was shattered. Boom! The courtyard that Yi Batian was in was flattened, and a huge fist mark appeared in front of him. It was 5 meters deep. Yi Batian could not stop his body. He backed out for dozens of steps, his face pale. As for Yi Feng, he had already been blown hundreds of meters away by the fist wind. He was dizzy from the impact. In the air, Yi Chen's voice was heard. "I respect you as my uncle, so I will let bygones be bygones. But it does not mean that you can do whatever you want in front of me. Some things should be kept to yourself." Yi Batian's face kept changing. At the same time, he was shocked by Yi Chen's power. A casual punch from him had pushed him back for dozens of steps without giving him any chance to fight back. Perhaps he had reached the late clasping Yuan realm? No matter whether he wanted to admit it or not, martial geniuses were almost invincible among warriors at the same cultivation level. All of a sudden, Yi Batian looked like he had aged 10 years. If his biggest advantage was not even worth mentioning, then what would be left? Father has been beaten? Yi Feng awkwardly crawled up and looked around at the courtyard that had been razed to the ground. He saw Yi Batian's expression drastically change, and his face was filled with disbelief. The last thing he had relied on in his heart had been destroyed, and his pride had been crushed. This kind of blow made his heart feel empty, and his eyes had lost all of their previous spirit. On the plaza of the Yi family, people from the Yi family had already arrived after hearing the commotion. Chen Yi Tianhao and Shen Yuqing were walking in front of the crowd. Shen Yuqing was even holding 2 beautiful babies in his arms. Yi Chen turned around and smiled. Father, Mother. Yi Tianhao, who was still smiling, gave Yi Chen a bear hug. Finally, you are back. Yeah. Yi Chen nodded slightly. What happened to your uncle? How could Yi Tianhao not know that Yi Chen had razed Yi Batian's courtyard to the ground with a single punch? At the same time, he was also worried that Yi Chen would kill Yi Batian. After all, Yi Batian had never done anything to harm his family, so he didn't deserve to die. Yi Chen said, "Don't worry, I know what I'm doing." Tianhao, don't you know Chen Er's character? He's not someone who kills indiscriminately. Shen Yuqing's eyes were slightly moist, and he immediately said, "What are you talking about here? Come into the hall." Yi Yaya. It seemed that Yi Chen had an amiable temperament. The 2 babies in Shen Yuqing's arms wriggled their bodies slightly. Their big black eyes were filled with joy. They looked straight at Yi Chen and made vague sounds from their mouths. "Mother, this must be my younger brother and sister. Let me hold them." Yi Chen carefully took his younger brother and sister from Shen Yuqing's arms and let them lie in his arms in a comfortable way. Ha ha. As soon as they were in Yi Chen's arms, the 2 little guys laughed adorably. Their chubby cheeks were pressed against Yi Chen's chest, looking very intimate. Shen Yuqing smiled and said, "They like you very much. It seems that they like you more than me and your father." Yi Chen followed Shen Yuqing into the hall and asked, "Mother, what are my younger brother and sister's names?" "Your younger brother is called Yi Xian, and your younger sister is called Yi Xiaoxiao." "Hey, the 2 little guys are asleep." Yi Chen looked down and saw that his younger brother and sister had both closed their eyes. Their mouths were slightly open, revealing a pair of baby teeth. Coupled with the blush on their cheeks, they looked extremely cute. In the hall, Yi Chen was holding the 2 babies in his arms. He looked no different from the handsome boy next door. However, after everyone had heard the news about the hidden dragon rank from him, they all looked up at him, looking up at him, who was standing in the clouds, the number 1 warrior of the young generation in the South Rudra region. Number 1 in the hidden dragon rank. The Yi family is so lucky. An elder from the Yi family yelled out with tears running down his face. Yi Tianhao was also shocked by Yi Chen's words. In fact, Yi Chen's ranking in the hidden dragon rank had already shocked him, but the number 1 in the hidden dragon rank had made him blank out for a short period of time. He could not even say a word. What did the hidden dragon rank represent? Everyone knew that it was the biggest competition in the South Rudra region. It was the competition that the young generation of the South Rudra region had to fight for. It would not be easy to get out of the competition. However, Yi Chen had not only gotten out of the competition, but he had also pushed all of the top young warriors aside and walked to the top of the South Rudra region by himself. If Yi Chen came from a famous family or a famous martial institution, it would not be shocking at all. However, he was obviously from a family in a small country in the South Rudra region. He was not even one of the top warriors in the Windy Nation, and his background was not even worth mentioning in the outside world. Compared to those rank 6 martial institution disciples, it was like the difference between an ant and an elephant. Besides that, everyone from the Yi family had the same feeling. The Yi family was an unranked family, and Yi Chen had turned from a mediocre person to a real dragon. The combination of the 2 had created a legend, a legend that belonged to ordinary people. They had no doubt that when the news of Yi Chen winning the first place in the Hidden Dragon rank spread out, it would cause a huge sensation. Perhaps the whole martial world of the Windy Nation would be boiling, and the whole martial world of the South Rudra region would be boiling. Well done. Yi Tianhao slapped heavily on Yi Chen's shoulder, his eyes filled with tears. His body did not shake, as Yi Chen did not want to wake his brother and sister up. In fact, the noise in the hall did not even reach his brother and sister's ears, as they were all blocked out by his Zhenqi. Yi Chen said, "Father, I told you before that I would not let you down. Indeed, you did not let me down. I am proud of you, and the Yi family is proud of you." As the leader of the Yi family, Yi Tianhao had been under a lot of pressure. He was afraid that the Yi family would fall in his hands, and he was afraid that he would not live up to his father's expectations. But now, all of that pressure was gone, because his son was even more powerful than him, 100 times more powerful. The humiliation and gossip when he was young did not defeat him. Instead, it made him stand up and shine brighter than the sun. Outside the hall, Yi Batian stood there in a daze, and next to him was Yi Feng, who had a blank face. The father and son were like outsiders. They could not feel the surprise, nor could they feel the warmth of the family, because all of those things had been killed by them. In their minds, all of the things that they had done in the past had been so ridiculous, so fragile. Yi Chen glanced at Yi Batian and Yi Feng, who were standing outside the hall. He did not pay much attention to them. There was still a chance for them to repent, but if they lost this chance, there would be no more. The Yi family he wanted was a united Yi family, not a Yi family that was always fighting against each other. Anyone or anything that stood in the way of unity would be crushed by him. Chapter 298. Night fell. The main yard of the Yi family was brightly lit. In the living room of the main yard, Yi Chen took out a book from his storage ring and piled it on the table. "Father, Mother, let's take these as our family's martial art." Shen Yuqing randomly picked up a book, and as soon as he opened it, he was shocked. Mid-rank Earth Realm Sword Art, Jade Breaking Sword Art, Mid-rank Earth Realm Sword Art. Yi Tianhao didn't realize it. He also picked up a book, opened it and read, Mid-rank Earth Realm Martial Art, Wave Shock Spell. It really is a mid-rank Earth Realm martial art. There is also a fist art. There is also a kick art. After reading over 10 books in a row, Shen Yuqing and Yi Tianhao looked at Yi Chen at the same time. They were shocked. Among the 20 books Yi Chen took out, there were 3 mid-rank Earth Realm martial arts, 5 low-rank Earth Realm martial arts, and 18 top-rank Mortal Realm martial arts, all of which were top-rank. Not to mention the top 8 families of the Windy Nation, even a ranked martial institution would not be able to compete with them. Yi Tianhao said, "Chenna, are these all yours?" Yi Chen nodded. "I've been training outside for more than a year, I've had a couple of adventures, and I've killed a lot of powerful warriors. These are all from them, and some are given to the Sky Cloud Martial School. Father, the martial art you're training is already a mid-rank Earth Realm martial art, so you don't need to change it. You can train this Jade Breaking Sword Art. Mother, the martial art you're training is only a low-rank Earth Realm martial art, so you can change it to a better one. As for a high-rank Earth Realm martial art, we can't get it for now, but we will find a way in the future. That's enough. Even if you give us a high-rank Earth Realm martial art, we won't be able to understand it completely." The martial art that Yi Tianhao was practicing was the only mid-rank Earth Realm martial art in the Yi family. It was bought by the third-generation family head with a huge price. It had always been a martial art that only the family head could practice. However, up until now, Yi Tianhao had not practiced it to the highest level. Giving him a high-rank Earth Realm martial art would be a waste. Shen Yuqing said, "Your father is right. Mid-rank Earth Realm martial arts are our limit. There is no need to waste time looking for higher-ranked martial arts. They were not geniuses, nor were they lonely people. They had a lot of time to practice martial arts. Therefore, even if there was a high-grade Earth-tier manual in front of them, they would still choose to give it up and keep it as their family's secret. Jade Shattering Sword Art, not bad. With it, my battling power would increase by at least 30 to 40%, and I would even be able to compete with late-clasping Yuan Realm warriors." Yi Tianhao grinned, holding the jade-shattering sword art manual in his hand. Yi Chen chuckled. This jade-breaking sword art manual was exchanged from Cloud Dreamer, and all the martial arts he got from the 2 astral-reaching realm warriors had been given to the Sky Cloud Martial School. After all, the Yi family did not have the power to fight against astral-reaching realm warriors. Here are some pellets. Some can increase your cultivation slightly, and some can replenish your spirit and chi. You guys can use them yourselves. Yi Chen then took out bottles of pellets from his storage ring. These pellets were not cheap, some of them were even worth tens of thousands of low-rank soulstones. Yi Tianhao and Shen Yuqing were full of smiles. If it were someone else giving them the manuals and pellets, they might reject it. But since it was their son, they were more than happy about it. More importantly, they did not want to be a burden to Yi Chen. Only by becoming more powerful would they be able to reduce Yi Chen's worries. The 2 little ones were very quiet in Yi Chen's arms. When they woke up, they stared at Yi Chen and the other 2 with their big, shiny eyes. They did not make any noise, and they seemed to be much more energetic than when Yi Chen had just arrived. Even Shen Yuqing was quite surprised, and thought that Yi Chen was the reason for the change. Yi Chen thought of the Dragon Fountain Qi, which could not only increase the luck of the martial institutions, but also the luck of his family. The difference was that the people in the martial institutions were not related to him by blood, so he needed to inject part of the Dragon Fountain Qi to stabilize the luck. However, the people in his family were his blood relatives, and that kind of bloodline connection could not be cut off. Now that he had returned, the Dragon Fountain Qi had already affected his family, especially his parents and siblings. In a couple of days, I will go into closed-door training in the Sky Cloud Martial School. This Wind Eagle will stay here, and if you need anything, you can come to me directly. Yi Chen thought for a while and said. Yi Tianhao nodded. All right, you don't need to worry about us, just take care of yourself. Okay. In the next couple of days, Yi Chen didn't do anything else. He stayed with his family, telling them about his experiences, and sharing the happiness of his family. On the 5th day, Yi Chen returned to the Sky Cloud Martial School. The mountain that Cloud Dreamer had chosen for him was the second mountain behind the main mountain, right next to the mountain where Cloud Dreamer was staying. The mountain was extremely steep, and there was no way to climb it. On the mountain, there were fountains and waterfalls, flowers and trees, and it was surrounded by a misty sea of clouds, which made the mountain faintly visible. What a beautiful place! The Sky Cloud Martial School built their school in this place for a reason. Except for the main mountain, the mountain that Yi Chen was staying on was the steepest one, and the mountain that Cloud Dreamer was staying on was the most mysterious. These 3 mountains could be called the 3 peaks of the Sky Cloud Martial School. The mountain didn't have a name yet, and would be named by the Great Master himself. Yi Chen didn't think too much, and directly named it the Shocking Cloud Mountain. It was the 3rd day since Yi Chen had moved in. The huge mountain had already been explored by him, and he was completely familiar with it. On the top of the mountain, Yi Chen stood there. It is time to close up. The Green Lotus Sword spell is a top-rank Earth Realm martial art, so it is not hard to imagine how hard it would be to train. In a short period of time, my battling power would not increase, but decrease instead. But, after this period of time, my battling power would increase to an unprecedented level. It is such a shame that I have never used that bit of Zhen Yuan from the mysterious great art. Once I change my martial art, this bit of Zhen Yuan would be wasted. What a shame. The biggest problem for Yi Chen was the bit of Zhen Yuan in the Zhen Qi spiral inside his body. This bit of Zhen Yuan was not half-step Zhen Yuan, but a genuine supreme Zhen Yuan, which was extremely pure. Without exaggeration, with this bit of Zhen Yuan, Yi Chen would be able to kill a peak-level early astral-reaching realm warrior within a second. Even a mid-astral reaching realm warrior would be severely wounded if they were careless. A bit of Zhen Yuan would be more powerful than any ace attacks. It would be the ace of all ace attacks, the ace of all ace attacks. It would be able to turn the tables completely. However, it was not a good idea to stay here. The Green Lotus Sword spell was 2 ranks higher than the mysterious great art, and it was a martial art suitable for sword artists to train. Combined with the Green Lotus Sword art, It would allow him to have the power to kill early astral-reaching realm warriors under normal conditions. He would not need to perform the minor blood demon body-separating great art or that pile of Jin Yuan, since both of them had their own advantages. Plus, time was precious. If he delayed training the Green Lotus sword spell by 1 day, his progress would be delayed by 1 day, which would affect his future achievements. Never mind, I will train the Green Lotus sword spell first. Once I have the power to kill astral-reaching realm warriors face-to-face, that bit of Jin Yuan would not be that useful anymore. Biting on his teeth, Yi Chen had finally made up his mind. There were a lot of training rooms under the shocking Cloud Mountain, and the biggest one was right in the middle of the mountain. There were 2 paths in the room, one was the normal path that led to the inside of the building, and the other was the cave that led to the main mountain of the Sky Cloud Martial School. On top of the stone platform in the middle of the room, Yi Chen sat with his legs crossed. The Green Lotus sword spell has 15 levels. 4 normal warriors, reaching the 9th level would be equivalent to reaching the 11th level of the mysterious great art. But I am a sword artist who has learned the sword intent, so I should be able to recover my original battling power after reaching the 8th level. Taking a deep breath, Yi Chen slowly closed his eyes and started to operate his Jin Qi according to the first level of the Green Lotus sword spell. The training method for the first level of any martial art would be very easy. Even the most ordinary of warriors would be able to train it successfully. Yi Chen's comprehensive ability was extremely powerful, plus the fact that the Green Lotus sword spell was the perfect fit for him. His training speed could not even be described as twice the result with half the effort, because within half an hour, he had already reached the 2nd level. The 2nd level was a couple of times harder than the first, but it was still not too difficult for Yi Chen. After an hour, he had successfully trained the 2nd level again, and was now at the 3rd level. It would not be possible to break through from the 3rd to the 4th level within a short period of time. It had nothing to do with comprehensive ability, it was a necessary process, since operating the Jin Qi would take a lot of time as well. 3 days passed. Woo! Beams of sword-shaped qi spread out, signifying the completion of the 4th level. It's faster than I thought. It should be the experience from training the mysterious great art. Warriors would change their martial arts not only to become stronger, but also because they had trained other martial arts before. Changing martial arts could more or less save time. Otherwise, warriors would have to spend their entire lives changing martial arts, and it would be impossible for them to improve. After that, Yi Chen spent 1 week to reach the 5th level, half a month to reach the 6th level, and 1 month to reach the 7th level. The mysterious Jin Qi is about to be completely transformed into the Green Lotus Jin Qi. I will not be able to keep this Jin Yuan anymore. Sinking his consciousness into his dantian, Yi Chen could see that there were 2 spirals of Jin Qi in his dantian. The fist-sized one was the Green Lotus Jin Qi, while the pigeon egg-sized one was the mysterious Jin Qi. Wrapped by the mysterious Jin Qi, there was a finger-sized drop of pure Jin Yuan that was perfectly still, shining brightly without any impurities. Getting rid of his depressed mood, Yi Chen pushed his Green Lotus Jin Qi to wrap up the mysterious Jin Qi, wanting to convert it all into Green Lotus Jin Qi in preparation for breaking through to the 8th level. Hiss, hiss, hiss. A sound that could not be heard from the outside world appeared inside Yi Chen's dantian. The mysterious Jin Qi was decreasing bit by bit, while the Green Lotus Jin Qi was growing bit by bit. That drop of Jin Yuan was gradually exposed. Yi Chen could imagine that once the Jin Yuan lost the nourishment of the mysterious Jin Qi, it would instantly turn into normal mysterious Jin Qi. Whatever, it's better to deal with it sooner rather than later. The conversion speed did not decrease, but instead increased. Yi Chen pushed his Green Lotus Jin Qi to its limit. Finally, the mysterious Jin Qi had been completely converted into Green Lotus Jin Qi. Only a finger-sized drop of Jin Yuan was left, quietly floating in the air of his dantian. It was vibrating slowly but surely, a sign that it was about to break down. Right then, a Jin Qi thread shot out from the center of the Green Lotus Jin Qi, wrapping around the drop of Jin Yuan and pulling it in. In the next second, countless Jin Qi threads connected with the Jin Yuan, just like the meridians and blood vessels around the heart. They were all interconnected, and could not be cut or separated. Seeing this, Yi Chen looked surprised. He did not expect that the Zhen Yuan would not only not disappear, but instead enter the Green Lotus Zhen Qi. Chapter 299. Although he had already prepared to give up on that stream of Zhen Yuan, it would be a lie to say that he did not feel pain in his heart. After all, he had not used that stream of Zhen Yuan even once since he started to cultivate it. He did not even know how powerful it was, which made Yi Chen feel pain in his heart. But now, there was no need to worry. The Zhen Yuan had already merged with the Green Lotus Zhen Qi. As time passed, the mysterious Zhen Yuan would also be converted into Green Lotus Zhen Yuan, and would no longer have any connection with the mysterious Zhen Qi. So, there would not be any problem of not being able to use it. Perhaps, the problem lies with the Great Mystery Art. Otherwise, the moment the Great Mystery Zhen Qi disappeared, the Great Mystery Zhen Yuan should have disintegrated immediately, instead of staying there and giving the Green Lotus Zhen Qi a chance to react. Yi Chen could vaguely feel that the martial arts from the Heavenly Dream Battle Palace were not simple at all. A mid-rank Earth Realm martial art could actually produce a stream of Zhen Yuan, which was unbelievable. Never mind. Trying to understand something that I cannot understand is not a good thing. Yi Chen shook his head, and did not want to spend any more time on this topic. Sinking his consciousness into his dantian again, Yi Chen saw that the mysterious Zhen Yuan was slowly moving in the Green Lotus Zhen Qi, gradually transforming into the Green Lotus Zhen Yuan. During the transformation, the mysterious Zhen Yuan was inevitably a bit mixed. Not only did it contain a huge amount of mysterious Zhen Yuan, but also a small amount of Green Lotus Zhen Yuan. Moving his attention away from the Zhen Yuan, Yi Chen focused on the 3 Green Lotus Sword Qi outside the Zhen Qi spiral. These 3 Green Lotus Sword Qi were only as long as a pinky finger. They were pure blue, without any impurities, and looked a bit illusory. They looked like streams of sharp airflow, spinning around the Zhen Qi spiral in a regular pattern. They were in perfect order, and did not clash with each other at all. I have reached the 7th level of the Green Lotus Sword spell in less than 2 months. This speed is indeed a bit fast. It seems that the higher my cultivation, the faster my martial arts will be. Yi Chen did not think that his training speed was 10 times faster than the other top martial geniuses. It should be known that not only normal warriors needed to change their martial arts, even the disciples of the super martial institutions needed to change their martial arts. Because when one's cultivation was still low, even if one was given a powerful martial art, one would not be able to train it normally. Therefore, in the early stages of training, most people would be training the mortal realm martial arts instead of the earth realm martial arts. Martial arts had always been about progress step by step. Those top martial geniuses had just reached the clasping Yuan realm and had already started to train high-rank or top-rank Earth realm martial arts, which was a challenge for them. If they were the same as Yi Chen and only started to train top-rank Earth realm martial arts at their current cultivation, their speed would definitely be much faster. It was just like how Yi Chen was still unable to learn the Sky realm martial arts right now. He had spent more than a year to learn it, but Sea of Souls realm warriors were able to learn it within a couple of months. Did it mean that Sea of Souls realm warriors' comprehensive ability was 10 times or even dozens of times better than Yi Chen's? This was impossible. The cultivation speed would be determined by the level one reached. The meaning of being a martial genius was that under the same conditions, their cultivation speed would be extremely fast. You could not compare an early clasping Yuan realm martial genius with a late clasping Yuan realm martial genius like Yi Chen, which would be unfair in itself. Of course, Yi Chen was confident that under the same conditions, the cultivation speed of a peerless genius would not be able to match up to his, although it was not as exaggerated. Kill. Sitting cross-legged on the stone platform, Yi Chen suddenly pointed his finger. Kai. A beam of cyan sword qi darted out, leaving a Zhonglong sword mark on the ground. It was not that powerful, only about the same as the sword qi released by a normal late clasping Yuan realm sword artist. It was not as powerful as the sword qi released by Yi Chen's sword. As the sword qi darted out, one of the Green Lotus sword qi in Yi Chen's dantian suddenly disappeared, and he would not be able to generate more in a short period of time. Only 2 Green Lotus sword qi were left spinning around his Zhen Qi. The green lotus sword chi inside my body has only been formed not long ago. It seems like I will need a long time to train it before I can bring out its full power. Letting out a long breath, Yi Chen's finger swept across his storage ring. A huge pile of low-rank soul stones appeared on the ground. There were at least thousands of them. In the early stages of changing martial arts, there was no need for soul stones to provide yuan qi, because the original Zhen qi could be directly converted into the current Zhen qi, which would save the training process. But, as the mysterious Zhen qi was used up, it would be time to use soul stones to increase the training speed. 2 low-rank soul stones landed in Yi Chen's hand. He closed his eyes and operated the Zhen qi inside his body according to the 7th level of the Green Lotus Sword spell. Soon, Yi Chen opened his eyes. No, the low-rank soul stone's yuan qi is not pure enough. It cannot keep up with the Green Lotus Zhen qi's training speed. Do I have to use mid-rank soul stones? Normally, only the powerful warriors who had reached the astral reaching realm would use mid-rank soul stones to train, because the Jin Yuan was way too pure. It would take too much time to train the low-rank soul stone's yuan qi. Right now, Yi Chen was also facing this problem. The Green Lotus Zhen qi trained by the Green Lotus sword spell was extremely pure, at least twice as pure as the mysterious Zhen qi. Therefore, using low-rank soul stones would be much more efficient. Putting away the low-rank soul stones on the ground, Yi Chen took out hundreds of mid-rank soul stones. After training for a while, Yi Chen nodded to himself. This time, he was right. Although it might be a bit of a waste to train the mid-rank soul stones yuan qi into Green Lotus Zhen qi, compared to his power, it was nothing. With 60 to 70,000 mid-rank soul stones, Yi Chen could definitely afford it. Reaching the 8th level of the Green Lotus sword spell from the 7th level was a very difficult process. It took Yi Chen a whole 2 months before he finally succeeded. Woo! A sharp qi flow spread out in the air. The walls of the secret room had all been eroded to a crisp, powder falling down. After resting for half a day and eating something, Yi Chen continued to train his Green Lotus sword spell. It had been 7 months since Yi Chen started his closed-door training. During this period of time, the Sky Cloud Martial School had undergone a huge change. Not only did the number of outer disciples increase from 3,000 to 5,000, but the number of inner disciples had also increased from 500 to 700. The biggest change was the number of outer masters. Countless clasping Yuan realm warriors in the Windy Nation wanted to join the Sky Cloud Martial School. Because of this, the leaders of the Sky Cloud Martial School had increased the difficulty of the selection. Besides having enough power, they also had to have a good character. Those with bad reputations were rejected, and those with ordinary reputations would not have any advantage. Only some of the clasping Yuan realm warriors with good reputations would have a higher chance of joining the Sky Cloud Martial School. Many people expressed their dissatisfaction with what the leaders of the Sky Cloud Martial School had done. Unfortunately, what could they do? It was you who wanted to join the Sky Cloud Martial School, not the other way around. On this day, the Sky Cloud Martial School was the same as usual, and the number of people who wanted to join had decreased a lot. Hundreds of miles away, above the clouds, a beam of lightning flashed across. Within the lightning, one could vaguely see a beast and 2 people. The beast was a demonic beast, and it had 5 wings. 2 pairs of wings were symmetrical, and the one in the middle was a lot smaller. It was covered with lightning, and it was exactly this lightning that made its speed reach such a horrifying level. It was a couple of times faster than the windy vulture. On the back of the demonic beast, 2 human figures were standing. The elder on the left had a beard and was wearing a long grey robe. He was standing with his hands behind his back, looking like a powerful warrior. Next to the elder was a young man with a pair of godlike eyes. It was Sikong Sheng, who had lost to Yi Chen in the last battle of the Hidden Dragon rank. On the day when the Hidden Dragon rank had ended, Sikong Sheng rode on the only rank 7 demonic beast in the Floating Mountain Martial School, the Bright Thunder Beast. He had rushed back to the Floating Mountain Martial School in 1 week and started his closed-door training. This was also the reason why he dared to challenge Yi Chen in half a year. After all, the South Rudra region was way too big, and without a fast demonic beast, it would take at least 1 to 2 months to get back. 9 months of closed-door training. Do you have the confidence to beat Yi Chen? The elder in the grey robe asked. Sikong Sheng said, in the last battle of the hidden dragon rank, my first movement of the mysterious sky tyrant fist art was not completed yet. My martial art had also stopped at the peak level of the 11th realm, and had not reached the 12th realm yet. This time, I have successfully trained my martial art to the 12th realm, and I have also mastered the first movement of the mysterious sky tyrant fist art. I have also learned the first movement of the second movement. It should be enough for me to beat him. That would be for the best. The demonic beast of the Sky Cloud Martial School is the Wind Eagle. It would take at least 2 months to get back from the Hidden Dragon Ancient City. In other words, he would only have 7 months of closed-door training, which is 2 months less than you. He has reached the late clasping Yuan realm, and 7 months would not be able to increase his battling power that much. What belongs to me, I will take it back myself. The glory in the early stage is nothing. Sikong Sheng looked even colder. The bright thunder beast flew out of the clouds, and the two could already see the main mountain of the Sky Cloud Martial School not far away. Get down, the elder yelled. Pap! The lightning flashed once in the air. When it reappeared, it was already above the Sky Cloud Martial School. Such a fast demonic beast. There are people up there. There are really people. They are not friendly. Hurry up and inform the leader and all the masters. The bright thunder beast had made too much noise. Everyone on the main mountain of the Sky Cloud Martial School had been stirred up. They all rushed to the plaza on top of the main mountain. Luo Xinglie walked out of the palace. Seeing Sikong Sheng on the bright thunder beast, he squinted his eyes and said politely, I am the leader of the Sky Cloud Martial School, Luo Xinglie. I wonder what brings you two here. The elder looked down at Luo Xinglie. Let Yi Chen out. Yi Chen? He is in closed-door training. We should not disturb him. Luo Xinglie frowned. He had more or less figured out why Sikong Sheng was here. It seemed like he had made some progress in the past 9 months. This time, he must be here to beat Yi Chen and take back the dragon fountain chi that belonged to him. Shoo! Sikong Sheng jumped down from the bright thunder beast and looked around. He noticed that the inner disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School were all different. He sneered, this battle is inevitable. I have made a deal with him. Let him fight me first, and then go into closed-door training. The headmaster of the Sky Cloud Martial School said, I am afraid that is not a good idea. To be honest, the headmaster had started to worry about Yi Chen. Sikong Sheng had come with a lot of power. If he did not have the confidence, he would not have come to the Sky Cloud Martial School. Since he had come, he must have the confidence to beat Yi Chen. What is not good about it? The elder was a core master in the Floating Mountain Martial School. His cultivation had reached the late astral reaching realm a long time ago. He did not care about Luo Xinglie and the headmaster at all. Hearing him, Luo Xinglie's face looked terrible. The situation was not in his favor. Even if he did not want to, there was nothing he could do. He sighed inwardly. This dragon fountain chi was indeed a hot potato. It would not be easy to keep it. But, he was one of the people who knew about Yi Chen's closed-door training. It had only been 7 months, and he would not be able to beat Sikong Sheng no matter what. Sikong Sheng, you seem to be late. Right then, a clear voice was heard from the shocking cloud mountain behind the main mountain. It was extremely sharp, like sword chi, spreading out quickly. Chapter 300. Brother Yi has finished his training. A lot of the inner disciples and core disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School felt pressured by Sikong Sheng's aura, which made them feel a bit shorter. It was like there was a giant standing in front of them, a god of war looking down on them from the clouds. That kind of king's aura had made them feel breathless. Only then did they realize who their brother Yi Chen had defeated. Their admiration for Yi Chen had reached its peak, almost to the point of worship. The cloud mist between the main mountain and the shocking cloud mountain was torn apart. Yi Chen, who was wearing blue robes and had a long sword on his waist, flew over. Wherever he passed, the air was like water, with ripples spreading out everywhere. All of a sudden, Yi Chen landed on the main mountain. Yi Chen, are you okay? Luo Xinglia hurried to ask. Yi Chen shook his head as he shifted his gaze to Sikong Sheng and said, "If you had come a month earlier, I think it would not have been that easy to win against you. But you did not take this opportunity." Half a month ago, Yi Chen had already trained his Green Lotus sword spell from the 8th level to the 9th level. In the remaining time, he had reached the peak level of the 9th level. The 3 Green Lotus Zhen Qi inside his body had gone through 2 fundamental changes. After 5 months of training, the power of his Green Lotus sword Qi had increased drastically. It could be counted as one of his killing attacks, and he would not be afraid of anyone in close combat. Sikong Sheng could feel that Yi Chen's sword aura was a bit more powerful than when he was in the Hidden Dragon Valley. However, thinking about his own improvement, he sneered, "Losing to you in the Hidden Dragon rank competition was the biggest shame of my life. Now, I will take it back with my own hands." Yi Chen glanced at the elder on the Thunder Beast. "Unfortunately, I do not plan to give away the first place of the Hidden Dragon rank and the Dragon Fountain Qi. Then, let's wait and see." The two stopped talking as their cold eyes clashed in the air. The vibrations generated were extremely horrifying. Even Luo Hanshan and Zhu Mai did not dare to be within 30 meters of them. On the Cloud Mountain, Thunder Freya said seriously, "This Sikong Sheng is not simple at all. It has only been 9 months and he has already improved so much. It seems like he is not far from the second Zhen Yuan purification." Cloud Dreamer nodded. "This is the first time I have seen this man. He is indeed a top genius with a king bloodline. The pressure of his aura alone can make people feel like they are no match for him. I am afraid only Yi Chen's sword aura can resist him. It's just that Yi Chen has just changed his cultivation method. Being able to recover his original battle strength is already his limit. His situation is not optimistic." Thunder Freya did not take Yi Chen's minor blood demon body separating great art into consideration. Although this secret martial art was powerful and could increase one's fighting power, it should not be exposed to the public. Back in the day, the blood demon had slaughtered a lot of powerful warriors from the floating mountain martial school. It was hard to guarantee that the elder on the Huang Thunder Beast would not make a big fuss about it and cause some trouble. "Just wait and see. I don't think Yi Chen doesn't know about this." Cloud Dreamer was much calmer than Thunder Freya. He knew that Yi Chen's achievements were definitely not due to luck. "This place is not a good place to fight. Let's go somewhere else." Once they had reached this level of battling power, their destructive power would be extremely powerful. They would not be any weaker than astral-reaching realm warriors. After a big battle, the buildings on the main mountain would be turned into ruins, which was not what Yi Chen wanted to see. Flashing his body, Yi Chen flew toward the mountains behind the main mountain. Sikong Sheng's battling intent surged as he followed closely behind. "Hurry up. Brother Yi is about to battle with Sikong Sheng. This battle will be the top battle between the young generation of the South Rudra region. If we miss this, we will never be able to see it again." A lot of the core disciples and inner disciples chased after Yi Chen. Luo Xinglia did not stop them. No matter if Yi Chen won or lost, being able to watch this battle would be a good thing for the disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School. It would help them to have the competitive spirit. It was a short mountain in the middle of the mountains. It was less than 800 meters tall, covering 7 to 8 miles of land. There were rocks all over the mountain, and hardly any plants could be seen. On top of the short mountain, Yi Chen and Sikong Sheng stood facing each other, 100 meters apart. Around the short mountain, there were human figures everywhere. Some of them were standing on the 100-meter-tall ancient trees, while some of them were standing on the hills. There were also some people with good eyesight who had climbed up to the mountains that were a bit further away, looking down from above. Right then, almost half of the people from the Sky Cloud Martial School had gathered in the mountains behind them. Woo! A dim light flashed through his storage ring, and 2 dark blue gloves appeared in Sikong Sheng's hands, shining with a cold light. Putting on the gloves, the half-step Zhen Yuan inside Sikong Sheng's body exploded completely. The powerful pressure spread out in all directions, and the sparse trees on the short mountain were all uprooted and blown away. It was a horrifying scene. On the other side, Yi Chen placed his right hand on the sword hilt. His body was like a sword, and his aura was like a sword. The pressure brought by Sikong Sheng's half-step Jin Yuan had not even gotten close to Yi Chen before it was cut open by that powerful sword aura, creating a peaceful area. Let's fight. The light in his eyes had reached its limit. Sikong Sheng took a step forward and appeared in front of Yi Chen within a second, throwing out a fist attack. Space Flash Step. Sky Tyrant Fist Attack. Right from the start, Sikong Sheng had pushed his battling power to a new peak. It would be fine if he did not move, but once he moved, it would be like a tsunami that could shatter the sky. Green Lotus Light. Chin. Taking out his Starscar sword, Yi Chen yelled with a low voice, blocking out Sikong Sheng's fist attack. Crack. A huge crack appeared in between the two, spreading out at an extreme speed. Within a second, it had turned into a couple of miles long and 10 meters wide pitch-black gully. The mountain has cracked. Most of the disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School had never seen such a horrifying battle before. The moment they clashed, the 800 meters tall mountain had been cracked open, and the ground had been shaken. All right, take another punch from me. Sikong Sheng's eyes looked horrifying. His body shook once, and his half-step Jin Yuan spread out, covering half of the mountain. Something shocking happened. The half of the mountain that had been cracked started to attack towards Yi Chen. Combined with Sikong Sheng's powerful aura, he looked like a real battle god. Green Lotus Mountain Opening. Yi Chen did not back out. The Starscar sword in his hand was waved up, and a waterfall-like sword chi shot out, cutting the half of the mountain that Sikong Sheng was on in half. Rocks flew everywhere. Sikong Sheng flew up into the sky, throwing out a punch. It was the ace attack of the Sky Tyrant Fist Art, Sky-Breaking Fist. Rumble. The other half of the mountain was completely shattered, and boulders of different sizes were thrown out in all directions, like a goddess scattering flowers. Watch out. Even the smallest of these rocks weighed tens of thousands of pounds, while the bigger ones were as big as a small hill. Most of the disciples of the Sky Cloud Martial School did not dare to fight against them alone. Dozens of people gathered together, attacking the rocks together. They looked shocked and excited at the same time. Stepping on a huge rock that had been thrown into the sky, Yi Chen thought to himself, he has indeed improved a lot. Before, this ace attack was not completed yet, and was easily broken by my Kill Heart Sword attack. But now, it has been completed, and the only way left is to develop the mentality. After the completion of the Earthrealm martial arts, the warriors would have to study the mentality if they wanted to become more powerful. Astral-reaching realm warriors would not only be powerful in terms of cultivation, but their martial mentality would also be more powerful than clasping Yuan realm warriors. Take out your ace attack. Otherwise, the battle will be over soon. Sikong Sheng also stepped on a huge rock in the sky, increasing the distance between him and Yi Chen. As you wish. Immortal Sky-Shattering Cloud. Performing his separating shadow-flying art, Yi Chen left the huge rock within a second, jumping into the area where Sikong Sheng was. He was in the sky, throwing down a sword attack accompanied by a thunder light. Boom, 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 boom. There were still a lot of huge rocks that had not hit the ground yet, still being thrown into the air. However, under Yi Chen's sword attack, they all exploded into pieces. Countless muddy yellow fireworks bloomed in the sky, looking extremely spectacular. Break for me. Sikong Sheng performed his sky-shattering fist art again. That aggressive fist power shattered the incoming sword chi time after time. His body flashed once, as if he had completely ignored the distance. He suddenly appeared in front of Yi Chen, throwing out a punch that went through the air. Watch out. Some of the disciples from the Sky Cloud Martial School screamed. Sikong Sheng's step art was extremely horrifying. It was like he was moving in a second, making it impossible for people to react. Yi Chen smiled lightly as he put up his left hand's index and middle fingers, pointing out in the air. Shoo! The bright blue sword chi shot out of his fingers, cutting through the surreal space. Sword chi coming out of his body? The fist power had been cancelled out, and Sikong Sheng hurried to back out a couple of steps. In the next second, another beam of sword chi shot over. Although he had dodged fast, it still scratched his thigh, causing blood to pour out. In the sky, The elder who was standing on the back of the thunder beast frowned. He had expected to see a one-sided battle, but this Yi Chen was way more powerful than he had imagined. He had managed to tie with Sikong Sheng in the previous battle, and now, he had revealed another sword chi attack that had shot out from his fingers, forcibly gaining the upper hand. Losing 2 beams of Green Lotus sword chi, and still not gaining the upper hand. It seems like the gap between the realms of the martial arts is not that easy to make up for. Yi Chen could tell that Sikong Sheng's martial art had improved again. He estimated it to be around the 12th level, while his Green Lotus sword spell was only at the peak of the 9th level. Since it was a martial art suitable for sword artists, its power was equivalent to the 10th level. Combined with the 70% sword intent, it could barely break through Sikong Sheng's half-step protective Jinyuan layer. However, it still wasted a little bit of time. Otherwise, with such a close distance, the Green Lotus sword chi would not have missed. If the Green Lotus sword spell had reached the 10th level, the 3 beams of Green Lotus sword chi would become 6, and then it would be much easier to win. The Green Lotus sword spell was divided into 15 levels. The 7th level could produce 3 beams of Green Lotus sword chi, the 10th level would produce 6 beams, and the 13th level would produce 9 beams. Once it reached the 14th level, the Green Lotus sword chi would transform into the Lotus Heart sword chi. Right now, Yi Chen was at the peak of the 9th level, and he had only produced 3 beams of Green Lotus sword chi. Glancing at the wound on his thigh, Sikong Sheng's eyes looked extremely serious. Yi Chen's improvement was out of his expectation. He could not believe that Yi Chen could still grow even stronger. Although he still had an unfinished ace attack that he had not performed yet, Yi Chen also had an ace attack. He would never forget the last battle of the Hidden Dragon rank, when Yi Chen had broken through his fist power with one sword attack and defeated him. Do not hold back anymore. Use the secret skill that can increase your battling power. The elder on the thunder beast suddenly said. Sikong Sheng nodded. Yi Chen, if this is all you have, then you will lose for sure. This time, I did not come here just to improve my power. Chapter 301. Yuan Magnetic Battle Body. The half-step protective Jinyuan around Sikong Sheng shrunk suddenly, sticking to the surface of his skin. It was similar to Tuor Buku's defensive martial art, but the only difference was that the half-step Jinyuan on the surface of Sikong Sheng's body seemed to be covered with a layer of magnetic light, with tiny electric sparks flashing. The powerful attraction and repulsion power intertwined together, forming a very chaotic power field. This is a magnetic field. Yi Chen's pupils shrank. On Sikong Sheng's body, he sensed a completely different power field compared to Murong Qingqing's. TSS. 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 The half-step Jinyuan started to vibrate at an extremely high speed. Sikong Sheng could feel that his power had increased by more than 30%. It was like he could blow up a 1,000 meters tall mountain with one punch, and kill a warrior at the same level with one finger attack. Secret skills that could increase the battling power were extremely rare in this true spirit continent. Even the rank 6 martial institutions did not have such powerful secret skills. The Floating Mountain School did not have them before, but they did have the Yuan Magnetic Godly Iron, which contained an extremely powerful magnetic power. Inside the floating mountain, there was a small piece of Yuan Magnetic Godly Iron essence, which contained extremely condensed magnetic power. According to the special effect of the Yuan Magnetic Godly Iron, the powerful warriors of the Floating Mountain School had spent a lot of effort to create a secret skill that could increase the battling power. Training this secret skill would not increase the battling power by itself. One would need to go inside the floating mountain and absorb a part of the magnetic power from the Yuan Magnetic Godly Iron essence, then bind it inside the body and use it together with this secret skill. Because it was incomplete, the secret skill had a time limit. Once the magnetic power binding inside the body was used up, the battling power increasing effect would disappear as well. This time, before going to the Sky Cloud Martial School to challenge Yi Chen, Sikong Sheng had made a lot of preparations. Training the Yuan magnetic battle body and absorbing the magnetic power was one of his preparations, which was also the source of his confidence to win against Yi Chen. Fist Tyrant River. Without performing his Sky Tyrant fist art, Sikong Sheng had only performed one ace attack. The aggressive power was like the air exploding, shaking the sky. An unparalleled pressure shot out, leaving a dozens of meters long and 3 to 4 meters wide vacuum mark in the air. Boom! The place where Yi Chen was exploded violently. The powerful vibration had triggered the electric current, making a sizzling sound. What a fierce fist force! Yi Chen's body turned into black smoke and disappeared with the wind. When he reappeared, he was already hundreds of meters away. Looking at Sikong Sheng's fist power, his expression turned serious. You can't escape. The Yuan magnetic battle body had boosted Sikong Sheng's speed to its limit. His feet slightly stepped out, and his whole body appeared right in front of Yi Chen within a second. His huge fists, which were covered by the dark blue gloves, shone with a chilling cold light and electric current as he threw out a punch. The air exploded again. The edges of Yi Chen's black smoke twisted slightly. Puff! A corner of the blue robe shattered into pieces. Kill! Naturally, Yi Chen would not be at a disadvantage. While he was moving, he turned around and slashed with his sword. The sword chi that was hundreds of feet long was like a giant axe that could split the sky. Sikong Sheng did not bother to dodge as he threw out a punch at the sword chi. With a cracking sound, the sword chi exploded. The extremely high frequency of vibration quickly exhausted the immortal will contained in the sword chi, and it could no longer hold on for even a moment. Brother Yi has fallen into a disadvantage. The situation is not looking good. What can he do? Sikong Sheng has a secret art to increase his battling power, but Brother Yi does not. A rank 6 martial institution is indeed powerful. They even have a secret art to increase their battling power. Even if Brother Yi loses, it will not be because of his power. Hearing his disciples' discussion, Luo Xinglia's eyebrows frowned deeply. Yi Chen being able to get the upper hand in the beginning was already out of his expectation. He did not expect the situation to change so drastically. Sikong Sheng had used a secret art to increase his battling power. In this case, if Yi Chen wanted to win, he would have to use the secret art that he had used when fighting against the astral reaching realm warriors. Thinking up to here, Luo Xinglia glanced at the core master of the floating mountain martial school who was standing on top of the thunder beast, feeling a bit worried. Whatever you have, use it all. I will shatter it one by one and let you admit your defeat. After shattering another incoming sword chi, Sikong Sheng floated in the air. His cold eyes locked onto Yi Chen, looking for the best opportunity to attack. His body flashed without any pattern. Yi Chen thought to himself, one kill heart sword attack. No, he must have a more powerful ace attack waiting for me. If I use it now, it will only hurt my spirit and will waste my battling power. The minor blood demon body separating great art would not work either. It was not the time to expose it yet. Once he used it, it would be troublesome if something happened. The elder on top of the thunder beast had scared him a lot. Then let's use the mysterious Zhen Yuan. Taking a deep breath, Yi Chen sunk his spirit into his dantian and quickly touched a drop of mysterious Zhen Yuan inside the Zhen Qi spiral, trying to pull it out. Not good. I can't pull out the mysterious Zhen Yuan. Although he looked calm, Yi Chen was shocked inside. He thought that even if he had trained the Green Lotus Zhen Qi, he would still be able to use the mysterious Zhen Yuan. But he did not expect it to go wrong. The mysterious Zhen Yuan did not listen to his command at all. It only shook a couple of times before it disappeared completely. Kill. Although there was no expression on Yi Chen's face, Sikong Sheng could tell that something was wrong from his movements. He took the chance immediately and threw out his fist, conquering the mountains. The surreal space tightened, and Yi Chen was trapped within it. The fist power that came after landed right in the middle of that area, fast and violent like thunder. Dong! The air vibrated like water, and the trees nearby started to fall down one after another. The blade-like chi flow tore the ground apart, bringing up waves of dirt. On a small mountain far away, Yi Chen looked down at his torn sleeves with a serious look on his face. It seemed like he would have to use his minor blood demon body separating great art this time. Haha, Yi Chen, why don't you use that sword attack? I will give you one more chance. If you don't use it now, I will beat you instantly. There was still more than half of the magnetic power inside his body, so Sikong Sheng was not worried about the possibility of his Yuan magnetic battle body running out. In the last battle of the Hidden Dragon rank, he had lost to Yi Chen's ace attack. Therefore, this time, he wanted to beat Yi Chen, who had performed his ace attack. Raising his head to look at Sikong Sheng, Yi Chen had a cold look on his face. A secret art that can increase battling power? I have it as well. Since you want me to use all of my power, then you should be prepared for the worst. Crack. The small mountain cracked open. Blood-red chi flow shot up into the sky, dyeing Yi Chen's clothes, hair, eyebrows, and pupils all red. His whole body looked like a bloody battle god, standing on top of the collapsing small mountain. His chi and blood are burning. This is. On the back of the Thunder Beast, the core master of the floating mountain martial school's expression changed. Luo Xinglie shook his head. He had used it after all. Oh well, it's better than being beaten by Sikong Sheng. On the cloud-drifting peak, Thunder Freya forced a smile, hoping that the core master of the floating mountain martial school would not ask about the origin of the minor blood demon body separating great art. Otherwise, even with the power of the Sky Cloud martial school, they would not be able to compete with him. A late astral reaching realm warrior from a rank 6 martial school was not something a normal late astral reaching realm warrior could compete with. Without exaggerating, even 10 of him would be seeking death. Cloud Dreamer said hesitantly, I think there should be no big problem. The true spirit continent is extremely complicated. It is hard to avoid some secret martial arts. Even if this martial art is from Master Blood Demon, it should not link Yi Chen and Master Blood Demon together. I hope so. Thunder Freya had a bad feeling about this. His chi and blood were burning, and his green lotus Shen chi was boiling. Yi Chen's battling power had increased drastically, and soon reached more than 50%. That kind of extremely violent power had ignited his battling intent. 2 beams of blood-red light shot out of his pupils, sharp like swords. Cut. His feet stomped on the ground, and the speed of the hill collapsing increased by 10 times. The powerful vibrating power had blown Yi Chen away, dragging a sharp red chi flow behind him. His body was like a sword, and his battling intent was like a sword. Yi Chen lifted up his Star Scar sword in the air and threw out a sword attack towards Sikong Sheng. Blood-red lightning flew everywhere. A twisting blood-red sword light tore open the air, creating a pitch-black vacuum tunnel. Sky-breaking fist. Sikong Sheng roared, pushing his Yuan magnetic battle body to its limit. Electric currents covered his whole body as he threw out a killing attack. Crack. Out of nowhere, dark clouds gathered above the mountains. A beam of lightning struck down, hitting right where the two had clashed. The balance had been broken, and Yi Chen had been blown out dozens of meters. His feet had left piles of blood-red patterns in the air. Compared to Yi Chen, Sikong Sheng had backed out for almost 100 meters. The advantages and disadvantages of the Yuan magnetic battle body and the minor blood demon body separating great art were obvious. What kind of secret skill is this? A shocked expression flashed through Sikong Sheng's face. He had experienced the power of the Yuan magnetic battle body, but his opponent's secret skill seemed to be even more powerful than the Yuan magnetic battle body. It was almost as brutal as burning his Zhen Yuan. Taking a quick breath, Sikong Sheng forcefully pushed his half-step Zhen Yuan, combining it with the magnetic power created by the essence of Yuan magnetic godly iron. He pushed his Yuan magnetic battle body even more violently. Electric currents appeared on his pitch-black hair, making a sizzling sound. Didn't you want to see my ace attack? Then, I will show you. Stopping his backing out, the blood-red chi flow on Yi Chen's body suddenly expanded, looking like a burning blood-colored flame. He raised his Star Scar sword with both of his hands, pouring his mind into it along with his sword intent. He threw out a sword attack. The sword chi was like a pillar, piercing through the surreal space and arriving in front of Sikong Sheng within a second. Break. Sky-breaking earth-cracking. An electric current flashed through the surface of his pupils. Sikong Sheng stood in the surreal space steadily. The air behind him continued to shatter, creating cracks in the vacuum space. A heaven-shattering poetic perspective spread out along with the powerful fist aura of the mysterious sky tyrant fist, shattering everything. Ka lolo. After throwing out a fist attack, the mountain behind him could not handle the huge counterforce of his ace attack. It shook a little before shattering all of a sudden, causing dust to rise into the sky. It was almost within a second that the fist power and the sword chi clashed together, freezing right there. The sky was covered in dark clouds, thunder and lightning were everywhere. Countless lightning bolts struck down crazily, breaking the rocks and lighting up the trees. All of the Sky Cloud Martial School's disciples who were watching the battle were shocked. They had never seen such a powerful clasping Yuan realm warrior before, and they might not be able to see one again in their lives. Chapter 302. Shu. A weird cloth-tearing sound was heard. The Kill Heart Sword Chi, which contained the immortal mentality and sword intent, brutally pierced through Sikong Shung's fist power, leaving behind a sharp and long pitch-black sword mark in the air. It then landed on Sikong Shung's chest with an unstoppable force, blowing him away. However, although the sword chi had pierced through the fist power, the aftermath of the exploding fist power still tore apart the air, creating layers of vacuum cracks. Countless vacuum cracks combined together, looking like a vacuum balsam flower blooming towards Yi Chen. Shoo, 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 shoo. The range of the vacuum cracks was way too big. Even with his separating shadow art, Yi Chen could not avoid all of them. Without panicking, Yi Chen put up his left index and middle fingers, and the last green lotus sword started to grow at a speed faster than human eyes could see, which was exactly the same as the scene in the Hidden Dragon secret realm. Yi Chen looked in front of him. There was a collapsed hill, entered the lake, and seemed to have encountered a huge obstacle. Boom! Its speed became slower and slower, and Sikong Shung rushed out with blood dripping out of the corner of his mouth. Those green lotuses that were close to his fist power were like sharp swords that had been taken out of their chi and blood, flying out one after another. Turning into blue-colored sword, he was able to block out the Kill Heart Sword. What happened next was even more horrifying. His fist power had cancelled out most of the power by the fist power. It was also thanks to the chaotic force field created by his Yuan magnetic battle body into it, which had reduced the stability and destructive power of the Kill Heart Sword and hacked on his body crazily. Of course, burning out the magnetic power on the surface of his body was also one of his defensive methods. What kind of sword movement is this? 30% more powerful than the normal half-step protect area. Trying his best to defend against the anything to me anymore that was shooting towards him. It seems like the sword power inside his body was decreasing at a much faster rate than before. You have this time. If it continued like winning or losing was very magnetic battle body's effect would disappear, and the luck that had been taken away was also very accumulation. Sikong Shung the green lotus sky giving up until the last of the green lotus sword art. The ground was cracked as Sikong Shung with the green lotus sky. His tightly clenched fist was covered in electricity. The immortal mentality contained in the sword shaking up the entire sky. Nourishing effect. Then I will show you a new killer move, making the air even more stable, like a calm lake. Taking a deep breath, feeling the green lotus were as calm as an ancient well. Being consumed the green lotus chi inside his body had not dared to waste any time, pouring into his palm and into the star lifting up the edge of the lake in the air. An extremely sharp blue chi flow of green lotuses on the floated up in the air, which then condensed together and forming into a huge green lotus. Whoosh. There were light purple lotuses on top of the green lotuses, but it was actually fast. Surrounded by beams of blue strangely calmed down, looking like blades, as if the raging river had turned into a lake green with no waves spun a couple of times before attacking towards Sikong Shung. Pooh! The consumption of the magnetic power had greatly decreased Sikong Shung's defense, and the huge green lotus formed by the sharp chi flow was even more horrifying than the Kill Heart Sword chi. It had broken through his defense instantly, shattering his half-step Shen Yuan. As the remaining magnetic power leaked out, Sikong Shung could no longer handle the power. He puked out a 3-meter-tall blood column, then was blown backward like a shooting star. Sheng-er. The elder's face was dark like water. He controlled his Huang Thunder Beast to catch Sikong Shung and put him on the back of the beast. He then turned around slowly, his expression changing continuously as he stared at Yi Chen. As one of the core masters of the Floating Mountain Martial School, the elder's name was Jin Huang, and people called him Jin Huang. He was extremely famous in the Grey Mystery Nation, and all the warriors from the Grey Mystery Nation would be scared when they saw him. The head disciple of his martial school had been beaten. No matter how good his temper was, he would still be a bit angry, not to mention that he was not a good-tempered person himself. Taking a deep breath, Yi Chen released his minor blood demon body separating great art. As the minor blood demon body separating great art was released, Yi Chen's spirit seemed to have dropped a lot. However, a stream of qi that was extremely hard to detect had been injected into his body through the air, making his condition much better. This is the dragon fountain qi. Of course, he knew what Sikong Sheng's intention was. It was nothing more than to decide the winner and take back a part of the dragon fountain qi. Although this was not a hidden dragon rank competition, if he lost, he would still lose a part of the dragon fountain qi. Luckily, it would not be as exaggerated as the hidden dragon rank competition, since luck was something that was constantly changing. This time, if Sikong Sheng beat him, he would lose a part of the dragon fountain qi without a doubt. The dragon fountain qi was equivalent to luck, but of course, luck was not necessarily the dragon fountain qi. Shu, Cloud Dreamer, who had always been quiet, appeared right next to Yi Chen. He laughed at Jin Huang. This year's young generation is indeed different. You have really opened my eyes. I am the great master of the Sky Cloud Martial School, Cloud Dreamer. I wonder who you are. Jin Huang said coldly, you do not need to know my name. But, I have a question. What you have performed is the minor blood demon body separating great art. The last sentence was directed at Yi Chen. Cloud Dreamer's expression changed suddenly. The last thing he wanted to see had happened after all. He hurried to say, Yi Chen used to be a disciple of our Sky Cloud Martial School. Now, he has become a master. He had some strange encounters in the past, and had gotten some messy martial arts and secret martial arts. Shut up. Jin Huang interrupted Cloud Dreamer and yelled at Yi Chen, I am asking you, are you training the minor blood demon body separating great art? So what if I am? So what if I am not? Yi Chen knew that there was no way for this to end well. His opponent was obviously targeting him. Even if he did not perform the minor blood demon body separating great art, he could not guarantee that there would not be any other problems. Hee. Jin Huang sneered, how dare you? Do you know how many people of our floating mountain martial school had been killed by Master Blood Demon? How many elders had died in his hands? Under such circumstances, you still dare to train the infamous minor blood demon body separating great art? Are you not putting our floating mountain martial school in your eyes? What a big accusation. Yi Chen said, which martial art in this true spirit continent has not been stained with blood and life? Are all martial arts unusable? You still dare to talk back? You are courting death. Without giving Yi Chen any chance to speak, Jin Huang put his finger on his thumb and flicked out a beam of golden light. Don't go too far. Cloud Dreamer roared, burning his Jin Yuan all of a sudden. He blocked in front of Yi Chen and threw out a sword attack toward the finger light. At the same time, Thunder Freer also arrived. Nobody knew when he had already burned his Jin Yuan, but he had also thrown out a claw attack toward the golden finger light. As the target of the opponent, how could Yi Chen just stand by and watch? He did not care that performing the minor blood demon body separating great art again would bring a huge damage to his body. His chi and blood burned fiercely as he coughed out a chunk of blood and threw out a kill heart sword attack. Rumble. The three of them were in their strongest state, but Daoist Jin Huang's strength was not something they could resist even if they joined forces. Even a wisp of his finger light could easily shatter their defenses and send them flying hundreds of meters away, coughing up 3 feet of blood. Walking down from the back of the Thunder Beast, Jin Huang stood in the midair with a cold look in his eyes. You three want to fight against me? You are courting death. Right now, I will give you a chance, and a chance to live. Hand over the minor blood demon body separating great art and break your own arms and legs. Then, I will let this matter go. Otherwise, I will kill the whole Sky Cloud Martial School. As soon as he said that, everyone in the Sky Cloud Martial School turned pale. They believed that Jin Huang could do it. A late astral reaching realm warrior from a rank 6 martial school was extremely powerful. Even a normal late astral reaching realm warrior would not be able to survive against him, not to mention them. Some of the people who had just joined had already started to run. Compared to their lives, the honor of the martial school was too far away from them. It was not worth it at all. Even if I, Cloud Dreamer, die, I will make you suffer for 3 days. Breaking their own arms and legs would be the same as cutting off their martial path, which would be even more painful than death. Cloud Dreamer, Thunder Freer, and Yi Chen were all ready to fight to the death, especially Cloud Dreamer. The burning Jin Yuan outside of his body had become extremely unstable, showing signs of exploding. A horrifying qi spread out everywhere. Shoo! Yi Chen, who was bleeding from every orifice, blocked in front of Cloud Dreamer. He was the one who started all of this, so he should be the one risking his life. He had already died once, so what if he died again? Come out! Coughing out a piece of internal organ, Yi Chen crazily pushed his green lotus Jin Qi, trying to draw out the mysterious Jin Yuan from the Jin Qi spiral. It seemed to be affected by Yi Chen's crazy emotions, as the mysterious Jin Yuan that had been silent for a long time started to wriggle. The frequency was getting higher and higher, and the vibration was getting bigger and bigger. A wave of Jin Yuan spread out, along with a violent unstable element. It was because the mysterious Jin Yuan was not pure, as 10% of it was green lotus Jin Yuan. Since you want to die, then don't blame me. Jin Huang's eyes were filled with killing intent as he pointed out his finger again. Pooh! It was not Yi Chen who puked out blood, but Xu Jing. Her body was slightly slim, and her white clothes were stained with blood. Both of her arms were hanging down, as if she had lost her bones. Chapter 303. Just like Yi Chen, Xu Jing had chosen to go into closed-door training not long after she got back from the Hidden Dragon Ancient City. Because the battle between Yi Chen and Xikong Sheng was way too loud, she decided to come out and see what was going on. When she arrived, the battle between Yi Chen and Xikong Sheng had already ended. Jin Huang's aggressiveness had alerted her secretly, so she rushed over to help Yi Chen. Jin Huang had trained a gold element martial art. Even a casual finger attack from him would have the ability to break through anything. It had easily pierced through Xu Jing's defense, breaking the bones in her arms inch by inch. It had all happened too fast. The mysterious Jin Yuan inside Yi Chen's body had just been drawn out of his dantian. If he moved even a little bit, it would be all for naught. He could only watch Xu Jing being blown hundreds of meters away. The good thing was that Zhu Mai had already caught up, blocking in front of Xu Jing. Blood explosion spell, green lotus sky. With an angry growl, the bloody red Jin Qi outside of Yi Chen's body exploded violently. It was the most powerful ace attack of the minor blood demon body separating great art, and it also had the biggest backfire. Even Yuan Zhongguo did not dare to use it, because once he used it, there was a 90% chance that he would be crippled, and a 30% chance of dying completely. It was extremely dangerous. Correspondingly, after using the blood explosion spell, Yi Chen's battling power had increased again, reaching more than 80%. It was almost the same as burning his Jin Yuan to increase his battling power. Not only that, the mysterious Jin Yuan that had been poured into the meridians in his right arm had also been dyed red by the spell. In other words, the second he used the mysterious Jin Yuan, Yi Chen's basic power would be similar to an early astral reaching realm warrior. Combined with the 70% sword intent and the ace attack from the green lotus sword art, it would be possible for him to kill a mid-astral reaching realm warrior. As for a late astral reaching realm warrior, the result would be revealed soon. Shoo! The star scar sword in his hand was as heavy as a mountain. Yi Chen threw out a sword attack that looked slow but was actually fast. The boiling air calmed down at an unnatural speed, turning into a dead silence. Then, countless green lotuses with a hint of red appeared, covering the entire sky. H, you dare to show off your insignificant skills in front of me? Break! Daoist Jin Huang snorted coldly. He raised his palm horizontally and slapped the void. A golden brilliance condensed into a giant palm, tearing apart the stagnant air, tearing apart countless green lotuses, and opening up a pitch-black vacuum passage. The vacuum passage seemed to contain a great gravitational force, sucking in everything around it. Puff! Yi Chen's 7 orifices were bleeding, and his body reeked of blood. Right then, Yi Chen's body suddenly shook. His green lotus sword spell, which had been stuck at the peak of the 9th realm, had suddenly reached the 10th realm under the great pressure. At the same time, his cultivation had also made great progress. Not only had he reached the peak level late clasping Yuan realm, but he was also not far away from being able to purify his Jin Yuan. Yi Chen had finally understood that the more pressure there was, the more explosive power there would be. If he did not explode in silence, then he would die in silence. Green lotus accumulation, cut. Without showing any excitement, Yi Chen's eyes were resolute, locking onto Daoist Jin Huang like a hawk. Right then, his mysterious Jin Yuan had already been poured into the Star Scar sword through the meridians in his arm. The Star Scar sword exploded with a bright light that could even dim the stars in the sky. Under the dazzling light, a fist-sized green lotus appeared on the tip of the sword. It was light purple in color, with strands of blood diamond-like qi flowing around its edge, easily cutting through the surreal space. Shoo! As Yi Chen's sword hacked down, the fist-sized green lotus shot out at a horrifying speed, leaving a perfectly straight black line in the surreal space. The black line did not disappear for a long time, extending for hundreds of meters, as if it had divided the whole space into two parts, one above and one below. It was extremely creepy. Not good. How can this kid have Jin Yuan? If it were only Jin Yuan, Daoist Jin Huang would not even spare a glance, as he could turn the opponent into ashes with a flick of his finger. However, Yi Chen had just used the blood explosion spell, combining his Jin Yuan with his qi and blood, which was equivalent to burning his Jin Yuan. His basic strength had increased drastically. Not only that, Yi Chen was also a sword artist who had comprehended 70% sword intent. With the two added together, even a mid-astral reaching expert would have to suffer a grievance if they were careless. Moreover, he did not put the people from the Sky Cloud Martial School in his eyes at all, and had only used 50 to 60% of his Jin Yuan, not to mention burning his Jin Yuan. The current him could not even compare to a mid-astral reaching expert with his protective Jin Yuan. If he were hit by this sword, even if he did not die, he would be crippled. The speed of the green lotus was too fast. Daoist Jin Huang did not have the time to thicken his protective Jin Yuan, so he could only raise his right middle finger and point out. Gold Bright Finger. Gold Bright Finger was Daoist Jin Huang's famous martial art. Even if he used 50 to 60% of his strength, its might was not something an ordinary astral reaching expert could compare with. Shoo! The golden light streaked across the sky, colliding with the unceasingly revolving green lotus. There was no sound, nor any sound or light effect. The two tightly stuck together, without any sound or presence, as if they were two magnets. Everyone was somewhat unable to adapt. It was as if they clearly knew that thunder was about to strike, and they could already see the flickering of thunder and lightning, and they had already made all the preparations. Yet, when the lightning struck down, there was not the slightest sound of thunder, which was rather unbearable. It might have been an instant, or it might have been a long time. With a loud bang, a dazzling radiance soared into the sky, tearing apart the black clouds in the sky, tearing apart the thunder and lightning, unceasingly spurting out firepower. At first glance, it looked like a fan-shaped light screen, the starting point of which was precisely the point where the golden light and green lotus collided. With a loud bang, Yi Chen and Daoist Jin Huang were both blown back. The difference was that Yi Chen was blown back while spurting out blood, and his body seemed to have lost a lot of weight, becoming as thin as a stick. On the other hand, Daoist Jin Huang's face was slightly pale, and he slid back several hundred meters in the sky, without any injuries. The gap between the two was too big. Even if Yi Chen had surpassed his limits and burst out with the most powerful attack of his life, a gap was still a gap. Compared to Daoist Jin Huang, who had hastily counterattacked, he was still not his opponent. However, being able to push Daoist Jin Huang back several hundred meters was enough to prove Yi Chen's strength. Sky-shattering strike. Sky Thunder Strike. Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer bit their tongues, trying their best to recover from their absent-minded state. Their Jin Yuan, which had been pushed to its peak, poured out without any regard for their lives, and performed their most powerful martial arts, attacking Daoist Jin Huang, who had just stabilized his body. Victory or defeat would be decided in this one move. No matter how many ants there are, they are still ants. This time, you will all die, and the Sky Cloud Martial School will be completely destroyed as well. Yi Chen's frontal attack had made Daoist Jin Huang's blood boil. He had to hold back his blood for a long time before he could swallow it back down. Seeing Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer seize this opportunity to attack him, Daoist Jin Huang was instantly enraged. He did not care about the fact that forcefully increasing his Jin Yuan would bring a huge burden to his body, and threw out 2 finger attacks with 70% of his Jin Yuan. Pooh. Pooh. Although Cloud Dreamer and Thunder Freer's attacks were not as powerful as Yi Chen's attack, they should not be underestimated. However, this time, Daoist Jin Huang had used 70% of his Jin Yuan, which was not something that the finger attack from before could compare with. Without any suspense, the 2 attacks had been shattered. Cloud Dreamer laughed bitterly. Brother Thunder, please take away all the people that you can, especially Yi Chen. Leave a route for our Sky Cloud Martial School, a lifeline. Do not let our last hope die. Otherwise, I, Cloud Dreamer, will not be able to face all the previous leaders of the Sky Cloud Martial School. I will not be satisfied even if I die. The last sentence was almost yelled out by Cloud Dreamer. Thunder Freer's expression changed. Cloud Dreamer, what are you doing? Hurry up. There is no time. I will use my last drop of blood to stall him. Cloud Dreamer was already extremely unstable. His exploding Jin Yuan had been completely messed up, and he could no longer calm himself down. His whole body was like a container filled with gunpowder, ready to explode at any second. Thunder Freer shook his head and sighed. He was ready to die as he said to Cloud Dreamer, there is no more chance. Look. Cloud Dreamer followed Thunder Freer's gaze and saw Yi Chen, who was covered in blood, flying back. His robe was stained with blood, and so was his hair. Senior Cloud Dreamer, Senior Thunder Freer, I know what you are thinking, but I can't back out, and I can't run away. If I were to sacrifice the whole Sky Cloud Martial School for my life, then what would be the point of me staying alive? The scary heart demon will stop me from reaching the life and death realm for the rest of my life, and I will not live up to your expectations. I do not want to carry such a heavy burden. Since the day I, Yi Chen, picked up my sword, I have never thought about running away, and I have never thought about letting someone else die for me. This is all because of me, and I will be the one to end it. You don't need to try to persuade me, I have made up my mind. As he spoke, Yi Chen took out a huge amount of blood sunflowers and swallowed them. He then performed his blood explosion spell without caring about his own life. Right then, his mind had never been this resolute, and his will had never been this strong. The sword intent kept rising up into the sky, and it seemed to be endless. Such a horrifying sword intent had already surpassed his body's limit, and his skin started to crack. Peak 70% sword intent. No, it should be 80% sword intent. Jin Huang gasped as he screamed in his mind. This kid can't be left alive, or he will become a huge threat. Right now, he was already scared. If he could not kill Yi Chen today, he would have nightmares for the rest of his life. Woo. 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 A lot of Sky Cloud Martial School's female disciples started crying, while the male disciples' eyes became more and more determined. Wu Ming, I want to go up and fight. What do you think?